good?
Yes, we're live.
Okay, great. All right, you're good on your end?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are ready to get started then. Hello, everyone. LoremasterOfSotek here, back, of course, with the Great Book of Grudges. We know it's been a little bit. That's mostly, actually, almost entirely my fault. I had a big AOS tournament 2 weeks ago, and then it turns out the big AOS tournament gave me COVID, which took me out last week. So that was a super ton of fun. By which I mean it was the exact opposite of fun, and it was awful. But I survived, and we are back. Of course, normally we do on Sundays, but we've got some scheduling conflicts with tomorrow. So me and Nathan decided to just pop up and do today. But let's go ahead and just hop straight into it. Nathan, how you doing, man? It's been a few weeks. What have you been up
to? Just running around like a headless chicken, trying to make sense of reality at the moment. But all good. All good. How about you?
I have been okay. Recovering from COVID was super fun. It was just the best. Thankfully, it was not too horrible for me. It really was just kind of like a sore throat, and just have to deal with a little bit of just nasty sinus stuff. But for the most part, I am feeling much better. Pretty much back to normal, and just trying to get back on that wagon and get caught up with everything that's been going on. Because I'll say it knocked me on my ass pretty good for a few days. Not a fun disease. So whoever's out there listening, A, make sure you're vaccinated, and B, wear masks if you're at large gatherings or just outside. Please, like, you really don't want it. It sucks. But there is a ton to talk about today. Like we have so much to talk about because it's been a few weeks. Now, because we have so much to talk about today, just for today, we're going to go ahead and skip over Tale of Two Gamers and Who Would Win. We're just gonna leap right over both those segments because we just kind of want to focus talking about stuff that's going on around the hobby sphere. We will be resuming those next week, but for this week, we're gonna go ahead and just move on. So, with that in mind, we have a bit of a list of things to go through. And the first thing, which is going to be fairly short, is that today is a pretty exciting day for those of us who are big AOS fans, because we're finally getting the stupid 3rd edition off the floor. And we're getting 2 new books that are available for pre-order today. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to do after I eventually get my day rolling and stuff, is I'm going to be ordering my Fire Slayers book and my Ideneth Deepkin book. Unfortunately, they're not getting much in the way of new models. They pretty much got the same treatment Nurgle did, where they both got 1 new hero. Though the character for the Ideneth and the Fire Slayers is a little interesting. They've got some kind of unique abilities. But the armies are looking very strong. They're looking very strong. So for anyone that's kind of keeping up with Age of Sigmar, like I'm trying to, if you're interested in 3rd edition, now is a really good time to get into it. This will put us up to 5 books being out in the new edition. So we're now at Auric Warclans, Stormcast Eternals, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Fire Slayers, and Ideneth Deepkin. So whether you want Sea Elves or Fire Dwarfs or whatever you may be into, it's quite an exciting time. And of course, we do know that there are some more books right around the corner. We have Night Haunt and Daughters of Cain are actually coming up fairly soon. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, but I believe on the 40k side of things, the Eldari book just came out, right?
Yeah, the Eldar just got it just today, and they got a bunch of new minis, which was desperately needed because I think some of those were older than both of us. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
But it's nice. The new models look very much the same in a sense of styling, but they look updated, which is great because they don't lose that typical Eldar look. And not all the miniatures got updated, unfortunately, but the book itself is quite large. I believe it's about the same size as the Space Marine one, which many people are very confused.
It's huge.
So it should be quite interesting. I've not been able to see it just yet. I've actually I picked it up and it's in my what's it called? Table.
Okay.
I cannot English today. I'm sorry.
No, hey, you're all good, dude. Yeah, I'm excited for the new books. It's hopefully Games Workshop is finally sorting out its printer issue. A lot of the delays lately have been due to book publishing, to my knowledge, not model problems. So I really hope they're finally getting that sorted because man, it's taken a while for them to get stuff out. Like even for 40K, like it has been slow getting things out there. But I am hoping that they're getting back on. I can't even express how excited I am for a new Nighthaunt book. My book is so old. It's so old, and the last tournament I was at, oh man, I fought some of the like newer stuff, and boy, howdy, was it brutal. It was painful. Exciting times on the tabletop hobbies these days. If that's something you're interested in, do be sure to keep up with that. And there's a lot of dedicated channels to it. It's something I hope to do myself. And I don't know. Oh wow, I had some like weird noise coming through. Anyway, with that kind of out of the way, we can hop into kind of a lot of the heavy hitters for today.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about Total War a lot. The game only just came out. Actually, I don't think we've had a LOREBEARD since the game released.
I don't think so. We've been quite busy, and obviously then just like everything comes in at once, doesn't it? But
yeah. So man, there's so much to talk about. Oh my god. Let's do the smart thing, and let's start with the less exciting stuff first, and then we'll talk about the more exciting stuff. So on the less exciting side of things, the game came out. Total War Warhammer 3 has obviously been fully released, and it's available for everyone. It has not been the smoothest release,
no,
but it also hasn't been the worst release.
No.
I think of the 3 Total War Warhammer titles, it's still the smoothest because Warhammer 2 was such a it was a mess.
Yeah.
But obviously there are a lot of things. I assume you're kind of having an experience with this as well, is that I can't help but when I'm playing it just be like, this is good and it's fun, but man, like I'm really wanting that blood pack. I'm really wanting that Immortal Empires, like man, like like I know it's coming, but like man, I really want it now.
Yeah, well, I like the campaign and so on. If I didn't like, I'm just about to clock over 400 hours. So I'm enjoying the game, but like, I kind of miss the sandbox element of Total War.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of people sympathize with it, in that you really don't get to build an empire as much in this one.
Yeah.
It's much more about just kind of like prepping an army to go into the realm of chaos and then desperately holding on to whatever you've managed to scrap together while your main army is gone.
Yeah.
It's not a bad system, but when it's the only system you have, it definitely like I have had campaigns where I'm playing and like I'm down a Demon Prince soul because like I just missed one or something. It's just like, oh man, like you're just playing catch up the rest of the time.
Yeah,
and it can get a little miserable to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the story itself is good. Like when it comes to Warhammer lore and story, I mean it's up there. It's not as bad as certain books that we've read in the past and all that, but mechanically it's just a bit much. And it's cool doing it once or twice, but at this point I've done it like every faction, and it's like I want to play more, but I want to just chill. Like, I've got an unstable mod that just stops the rifts, and that's it. But it's unstable, and you never know what's going to happen, type of thing, you know?
Yeah, so how would you say you feel about the game overall, like in its current state?
I like the game. I'd still say like it is the Warhammer game we've been waiting for. It would be a lot more replayability. There would be a lot more replayability if there was some quality of life changes to the campaign itself, either as a sandbox version or just making the rifts more apart, like 60 turns instead of 30, just to actually give you time to breathe and go around and do stuff. But like the game itself is in a good place. Like you said, it's not the worst launch. Like anyone who's watching this, I'm presuming, has played some of the historical titles and so on. Like a lot of people are bitching, yeah, this is a horrible launch. It's like, it's not Rome 2, man. It's not Rome 2. But
Yeah, no, no, it's not even close.
yeah, with a bit of TLC, this game could be an easy 10 out of 10, though.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you that honestly, I think if they had just included a setting to like determine how long between the rift spawns, that would have helped a lot. Where it's just like, hey, you could make it 25 turns at the smallest, up to maybe like 100 turns, or even just they just don't spawn if you just want to go for the other victory objective. I think that would have been a really smart addition to just help the game not get stale.
Yeah, it's because it's so hectic. Like right now, I'm playing Kogath to finish up to get the legendary achievement, right? And I have 2 provinces, and that's it. I have 3 souls. I just need to fight my way through the realm of Tzeentch and have some sort of midlife crisis in between that. But God, I hate that realm so much, man. I hate it so much.
You know, someone in my chat actually explained something to me that makes Tzeentch's realm stupidly easy. So the thing about Tzeentch's realm that isn't obvious when you go in is that the entire thing is a circle, with the exception of one island. So all of the islands only have one possible... So, like, if you land on an island by coming through a portal, there's only one other portal, with the exception of one island, where there's 2 possibilities. And one of the possibilities will take you to the end, and the other possibility will take you back to the beginning. So the fastest way to do Tzeentch's realm is actually not to look for the sigils. Like, just totally ignore the sigils. It's literally just immediately just run through the portals as fast as you can until you get to the one where you have 2 options instead, and then just pick one, and that's the only one you have to remember. So if you get the wrong one, just be like, okay, so when I get to that split, I go the other way. So just run through it as fast as you can again, and then take the split. It's guaranteed to work every time, and it makes it so much faster and so much easier. Because it's not actually a puzzle. There's no puzzle to it. It's literally just... It's just... There's a single branch point. Other than that, you're literally just running in a straight line.
Yeah. I mean, it's just got a bit of an issue. Because obviously when you port, you can't move, and it's kind of frustrating. I've had issues where like 5 or 6 factions just go inside and just dogpile, and someone always gets there first. It's like, fuck, man. You know?
Well, yeah, because it's randomly determined what island you seem to spawn in on, and so like it's a total crapshoot about where you are in the circle. And I do 100% agree that the fact that if you teleport, it uses your move sucks. Like, it makes it so tedious. Because you like Khorne's realm, Nurgle's realm, and Slaanesh's realm feel so much faster. Even though Slaanesh's realm is like kind of like Tzeentch's realm in that like you're only able to move a little bit and then you stop. But Tzeentch's realm, it feels a lot worse because Slaanesh's realm, you know, it's not like a mystery what you're trying to do. Or you feel like you're making great progress because it's very obvious where you're going. You're literally just going down a level, down a level, down a level. And you also have a dilemma at every level. So like even if you don't fight, you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
Whereas in Tzeentch's realm, you're literally doing nothing until you get to the end. Like, like if you're running it optimally and trying to get through as fast as possible, that means you're not going to interact with his realm at all. Like you're going to skip the white circles because they eat all your movement, which is stupid. Because it's the only realm that does that. In Nurgle's realm and Khorne's realm, if you go on one of the white circles to get like a dilemma, you could still move.
Yeah.
Like you could pick up a Khorne weapon and immediately move. Or Nurgle's realm, you can get full health and immunity to the disease and still move.
Yeah.
Tzeentch's realm, you land on it and it deletes all your movement and gives you a shit dilemma where it's like, heal your guys, reveal a sigil, or if you're lucky, you'll get like a Tzeentch boon. But they don't all offer Tzeentch boons, which I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like it's just like it's frustrating. And from what I've seen from a recent live stream, it's always best to do Tzeentch first if you want to get the souls.
Just to get it out of the way.
Yeah. And even that's frustrating as shit, man, because I had to deal with it. I was playing as Greasus, and I had to deal with Khorne, I had to deal with freaking Kairos, and I was just at that point just like, I want to cry, man. I want to cry so much.
Yeah, I literally just speed run. Like, as soon as the portal is up, like, I immediately, like, throw a guy in there as fast as I can to Tzeentch and just start running just to get it over with.
It's a weird thing. I tell you what, when it comes to, like, I'm not telling people to use unstable mods and so on because you never know what can happen with your game. Like, I used one once and I had to reformat my PC and so on. But this was made by a modder that I know and so on. But I'm having a lot more fun with the wrist disabled because I can just chill. You know, I can play Total War. And that's what I want to do. I want to play Total War.
Yeah, I mean, the main story campaign, like, it is a fairly fast experience, assuming nothing bad happens, and you don't, like, miss out on a soul on one of the run-throughs. But it, it's very, it feels like it's interrupting the game. Like, I feel like I'm being interrupted doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost kind of funny, like, I definitely think the Vortex was a significantly worse mechanic, but at least you could, like, decide when to do the Vortex. You were like, okay, I'm ready for the Vortex missions.
Yeah.
And this one's just like, it happens. Like, get ready, here it comes.
Yeah. You don't really get a time to prepare, especially when you're playing a slow faction like Korgath, where you're going to have a trash stack going in for the first one. It's like, oh, why? I don't want to go in with Nurglings.
Yeah, you literally just have to cheese it with, like, Kuga's shooting attack because, like, you just don't have an army. Yeah. So you're just like, I'm just going to sit back here and throw stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with what Nathan was saying as far as, like, I feel like the game is good. It just, I don't know. There's like, I like, some of my other issues are, like, I really don't like how the multiplayer campaigns can only be played in multiplayer. Mm. I could really see something Rotten in Kislev or Disharmony in Darkness being fun even against the AI. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't work. Yeah, you have to have a friend.
To be fair, because I played it with one other person, and the AI is kind of garbage to be able to play that campaign. It's a weird thing because it's a great campaign. I did a 3-man version with Templin Institute and Mordred, and that was super, super fun. Like, god damn, that was so cool. Why can't we have that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I did one with, I think we had 5 people, and we did it in one sitting. Like we literally got to someone, I think Turin ended up winning, but, like, we literally played through the whole thing in one sitting, and it felt like it went by super fast. I think it took us, like, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours for 5 people to get to the end. So, like, it's a very, very fun mode. It's just such a shame that you can't experience it really unless you have people to play with.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do understand that Total War AI is, like, very complicated. It's only designed for, like, very specific things.
Yeah.
So I could see how someone being like, hey, could you, like, do AI for this whole nother campaign? The AI people are like, no. not if you want to release this anytime soon. Yeah. No.
It's an important thing to note because, like, Total War AI has never been intelligent. The fact that they can try and flank us and so on is a massive step forward. But even then, like, it kind of dubs out.
Yeah, well, just thinking about the amount of variables the like AI has to deal with to make decisions, like I'm just shocked it works at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like it's so complicated. But anyway, so overall, like the game's good. We hope everyone's enjoying it. Um, it definitely is missing some critical components for like the overall experience. Obviously, the Blood Pack is a huge one, and Immortal Empires is also kind of one of those looming. I don't know how many people, myself included, are playing and being like, "Man, this is awesome," but like I would love to be playing Lizardman right now.
Yeah.
Or like, "Man, this is awesome, but man, I wish I was really playing Skaven right now." You know, so that but hopefully that's not too far away.
Hopefully not, because like I'm still having fun playing the demons and so on, but I'd love more variety of enemies to fight because I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. But interesting segue. Speaking of the Immortal Empires, something I think we've both made videos about, but it's worth talking about on LOREBEARDS, especially because people watching LOREBEARDS for some damn reason may have not seen the videos somehow. Nathan, you want to tell us what showed up?
Yep. Let me just get the image on screen, because sometimes things don't work. So obviously data mining has been going on a lot. Those who follow the channel know that I've been taking part in it. I've had some help from some
damn dwarves data mining the game.
We've had some. I've had some loads.
Actually, it's probably more of a Skaven activity, to be honest.
Yeah, but I've had a lot of help from. So I've got to give him thanks, obviously, to Xenon from the SFO team, who has been helping me out, and a lot of stuff did appear. Like, for example, almost the world map, and it's rather exciting, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, it's a very impressive map, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it is very, very close to our wildest dreams realized.
Very close. Not there, but there's a chance. There's a chance, and it is like I remember when I first saw this, my jaw dropped. Like I was like, God damn, Lustria is full, Southlands is full, and then I realized it's like, holy shit, Southern Chaos Waste in Garage, which don't look to be playable. The data mine settlements were already found. Unfortunately, nothing in Ind and Koresh just yet, at least. We never know for the future.
Weirdly, the Southern Chaos Wastes have provinces and regions drawn onto it.
Yeah, everything barring that little bit right below Koresh has a settlement.
Yeah, but like, what a gorgeous map. Like, granted, they've said that this was a earlier version. This is not the version they're apparently working with currently, which I think I could speak for us both when I say that I think we're both deeply hoping that means they're expanding the map further.
So, this happened in Mortal Empires too, 4 years ago, where they said, oh no, that's an early thing. So I'm really much thinking that this is pretty much what we're getting at the very beginning, at least.
Well, I think for the very beginning, it's still a good start.
Yeah.
I mean, in Warhammer 2, they ended up expanding the map substantially and adding in quite a few little places all over the place.
Yeah, they added in the Darklands, they added in the territory where Deathmaster starts, the Dragon Isles and all that. So map expansions are possible.
Yeah, and I mean, literally the only thing missing from the map is there's a little bit... Nagaroth's western coast is a little cut off. Mm-hmm. We're missing like a bit of the shattered shore there, or the broken shore. Mm-hmm. And then we're also missing literally just like 2 sets of islands.
Yeah.
Being Nippon and the Lost Isles of Elithis.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's literally the entire planet.
Yeah. So it is quite impressive. Did you see the settlement data mine list?
I saw it. I didn't like really look through it just because it was just a lot of text. And I was like, I don't have time for this.
It is.
Were there any particular jump outs for you from that?
Well, there's like 500 settlements, so it's going to be fucking big.
That's a lot.
Yeah. From what has been from all the data mining is sorry.
They're gonna need to add in a new campaign victory style. Like, there's gonna need to be short campaign victory, long campaign victory, and then like fuck you, why are you still playing this long?
Yeah.
Campaign victory.
Like, it looks impressive. I'm confused as to why we have settlements in the Southern Waste, though.
Yeah, honestly, my bet is they're going to use that to give the demons a more diverse starting time. Or maybe they'll put someone like the Warrior Chaos guys down there.
Yeah.
But to me, I think it's to do like, hey, we want to do more chaos, but we don't want every single chaos faction in the north.
Yeah.
Like, we want some chaos people who can fight Lizardmen and Skaven right at the start, and Tomb Kings,
Yeah.
instead of just being stuck against Dark Elves, Bretonnia, and the Empire for all of eternity.
Well, there seems to be some data mining, which hasn't been confirmed yet, because some people might think it's a minor faction. We don't know exactly. Some people are trying to decode it at the moment. But Nakari might start very close to Ulfwan, which would be really interesting. Yeah, like, I would love a campaign like that. I would love to just turn them into my vassals and shit.
Yeah, dude's got, like, the ultimate hate boner for high elves, I mean.
Exactly. But that's, like, it is really impressive. I mean, hopefully this means that they have, like, I don't know, man. I keep looking at Ind and Koresh, and I'm like, I want it. I want it so much.
DLC?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's, like, so much territory.
Yeah.
Like, why even bother? You're gonna fill it in with new races, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Well, there is some more data mining that happened with the Cathay caravans, where, because it's not there at the moment, but you can actually send a caravan into Ind.
Really?
Yeah, and it gives you an idol from Ind, so it's like, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, who knows? Maybe they'll, like, kind of start seeing that place a little bit, and maybe that could literally be what they mean when they say that the map's old. It could be that they're saying that, like, it's not necessarily that the terrain, like, the overall map will be different, but maybe they've been filling in more of it as they've been going.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think End especially would be nice to have, because it would make it a little easier to, like, move underneath the Mountains of Morn and do stuff there. Like, I could see Koresh, like, there's no reason for Koresh to be on there at the start. They could literally just have that be like Athel Loren in Warhammer 1, where it's this big impenetrable jungle with Fog of War and you just can't go in there.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to walk through End.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, it has that border right there that is a little awkward to fidge around.
Yeah. Like, I think we'll get it as DLC in the future and so on. And the only reason why I'm starting to think of that now is because it ties into something that we'll talk about in a little bit with the GW thing. But, you know, why is there some hints towards Ind? Why is there loads of messages about Ind? Why can a caravan go to Ind if they don't have it planned? The problem is that CA do have this issue where stuff gets spoiled and they will deny it anyway.
Well, they have to. Like, what?
Yeah.
like, we all got to remember that just because they work at the company doesn't mean they don't have to sign NDAs. They still have to sign NDAs. Like, they legally cannot be like, oh yeah, End's totally coming to the game.
Yeah.
Like, they have a contract somewhere that says you cannot talk about End.
Yeah. And it's not only that, but, like, a key factor about these NDAs is also there's a certain company involved, which is terrifying, you know? Like...
I would say there are two companies that are terrifying.
Yeah, but I'm more scared of GW.
Yeah. But, like, dude, I don't think Sega would take nicely to finding out that someone's, like, leaking a shit ton of, like, Warhammer stuff from CA.
Oh, yeah,
like, even Sega would be like, Sonic's coming for you.
Yeah. But I'm hopeful for the future. Seeing a map this big, and it does look like this map isn't going to have the same issues that Warhammer 3's main campaign does at the moment. So Talabecland hasn't been shrunk down massively and so on, which is bizarre to me that they did that for that game. But this might be just this might be Immortal Empires map then expanded further rather than it's a new map, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. Yeah. It looks like the Southlands, Lustria. It looks like all of the New World stuff has been heavily tinkered with, but the Old World looks consistent.
Yeah, which is good. Some people put some overlays over it on Reddit and so on, and it looks It looks like what I wanted. It looks like what I wanted, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment. I just can't wait to see how long a campaign's going to take. Watch Legend do it in a day.
He'll find a way.
Yeah.
Like even if he has to like cheese it by like changing how long a day is, like he's just capable of that kind of bullshittery.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough. Well, actually, no, not yet. Let's kind of do one thing of like, so of the stuff that we see in the world, let's do this two ways. Number one, what are you the most excited for that looks like it'll be available right when they release Immortal Empires, assuming this is what it's going to be? And number two, what are you most excited for that will be DLC later based on this map?
Right. So number one, playing the demon factions again without any constraints of a campaign, because I'm hoping that this is going to be just like the Mortal Empires where we don't have to do well, it doesn't look like we're going to do the realms. So playing the demon factions again and having like an end time scenario type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Where you're trying to like really destroy the world.
Yeah, like imagine just like joining up, like possibly you'll have to use a mod for it, but like instead of an order tide, having a chaos tide and just seeing how far it can go. Like that sounds like it would be a shit ton of fun.
I really hope they do a lot of coding to make it where like the chaos factions actually team up. So like if you're playing order, you're dealing with like a super alliance of like the demons and the beastmen and the warriors in Norska.
Yeah.
Like and like the Skaven I could see it being like they might be allies, they might not, depending on how your playthrough is going. But like I really want there to be a chaos alliance.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool if we had like a semi which I think we'll probably get round about the end of the lifespan of the game, which would be
semi. Oh yeah, dude, this map totally gives me a semi.
Yeah, but like I mean, like a semi end time. So like, get all the order factions together. This is like right at the near end of the campaign. So say it's like turn 300 or whatever. Get all the chaos factions together. Get all the greenskin factions together. Possibly joining up with the ogres because Grimgor, and then get all the undead factions joining up together if we ever get Nagash, and just have an end time scenario. That would just be fun.
Yeah, well, I do hope they do a good job of making it where like the AI kind of naturally gravitates towards teams.
Yeah.
And we really get to see what happens there.
Yeah.
But okay, so what about something that's not possible on this expanded map that you're most excited for?
I would love like what do you mean, like a race pack or?
Yeah, so it can't be something from Cathay, the Southern Chaos Wastes, or the old map. So like an area they haven't drawn in yet.
Yeah. I mean,
which one are you most excited for?
Probably Ind, I'd say, more than anything. Koresh sounds really, really cool, and like we're likely to get it because like they'll want to do something interesting, and you know, when it comes to stuff like from GW's perspective, I think they like doing monsters more than people because they do people too much.
Yeah.
But I would love Ind. I think Ind would be really cool because we do have a decent amount of established lore, and it points towards Land of 1,000 Gods. So I'm thinking a mixture of humans and like intelligent beastmen, like obviously the Tiger Men, maybe even some other type of stuff, like because I was talking to Party Elite about this because obviously he's really keen on that, and we were just chatting like, oh, what if they did like really strong Tiger Men as a frontline monstrous infantry type, and then you're supporting it with kind of like old school it's going into history a bit, like gunners, but like kind of like muskets and so on, like kind of when like Britain had India in a sense. So using that influence, I was like, that would be really, really cool. And what about like loads, what about like a maybe one type of one new law of magic which would be focused around buffs more than anything, but like really like kind of like if yin and yang, but if yin and yang were together. So if you would buff up a monster, like one of the godlike creatures, you would get something different to when if you buffed up a human. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man, that would be complicated, but it'd be really interesting to see that play out.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be cool. I just love the idea of more human factions. I know people find it boring, but there are so many different factions that were introduced in Warhammer Fantasy Lore, and we've had fuck all from them, like 5 sentences at most.
Yeah. Well, no, and like I think for me especially, getting to see other like major cultures really get their showman in fantasy is just like, it's so kick-ass, because that's such a great way to introduce people to the hobby. Of like finding out like, oh, like you think this like religious history is really cool, or you think this particular like, you know, famous area of the world is really cool, or this particular historical era, we've got a race for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's so much potential.
It's that perfect gateway drug.
Yeah. And there's so much potential, because if you think about it this way, it would work with Age of Sigmar too, because if you have them for Old World, because if they come for Warhammer 3, they're likely to have armies in Old World, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the only, we've seen that with Cathay now. And
yeah,
it's
which
like,
we'll talk about in a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, well, you know, then you can use them for cities of Sigmar, GW makes more money out of it, and like...
yeah, they make bank. Yeah.
They want money.
The easiest cross-play in the universe.
Exactly.
It's going to make 40K look like a joke. But
what about you?
Yeah, so I will say for me, when it comes to the expanded map, I think the thing I'm most excited for is full Lustria and full Southlands to spread everybody out, so it's not the Lustria Bowl anymore. Like, there's like, you know, put Teclis back on the other side of the continent, let like everyone just have some breathing room so they can have interesting campaigns, and being able to go into the ocean around the continents, I think is going to be so exciting.
Yeah, you can sneak through with agents and so on.
Like, the ocean is going to be so much more important. And like, you're actually going to be able to more reliably control ocean lanes of like controlling, especially like the ocean areas that are underneath the continents. Like, that's going to be so much more interesting, playing as like faction, the races that like, oh, we get bonuses when we fight at sea. The bigger the world gets, the more valuable that becomes.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to get more land and more ocean. And then this, and of course, honestly for me, probably, you know, funny enough, the feature I'm the most excited about for Total War Warhammer 3 going to Total War Warhammer Expanded is the save Lord and Hero system. Of like, now I could start an Oxyodal campaign and grab literally my character insert, the Troglodyte hero, and I could just port him or to my other Lizardman campaigns. And that's really cool. I'm really excited for that. Or like, but just like, I've had so many campaigns where I get like a really badass character, either generic Lord or generic hero, and it's like, man, it sucks that this character just exists in this campaign. I don't get to take him with me.
Yeah.
So I think being able to take him with us is going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's a minor feature, but it has so much reach as far as allowing you to develop your own stories.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And then I think for the combined map, honestly, I think I'm most excited for the Naga of Koresh. Because they are such a clean slate. Like, we know less about them than anyone else. And what we do know about them is like terrifying. You know, where it's like, oh, you have the Blood Naga Queens. So we know, like, it's, you know, we've got this matriarchal society that's super into blood magic, that worships chaos. They have terrifying snake creatures. And I want to read a fun excerpt here in just a little bit when we're talking about the old world a bit, that has to do with Games Workshop, or Cubicle 7. The Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay guys snuck in a very, very exciting lore tidbit about the Naga of Koresh in a recent publication, which I will read out for everyone when we get to that segment. But before that, do you want to talk about Chaos Dwarfs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big topic lately. A lot of people have been like excited, especially because data mining once again,
every developer's favorite thing.
I mean, if they didn't want that stuff to be found, they could have removed it, you know?
I know. It's just funny to make, it's just easy to make fun of it.
Yeah. But it's really exciting because not only do we know that Chaos Dwarfs have quite a little bit already in, like, obviously, Xenon once again to the rescue, found the rigging for the Great Taurus, which was quite interesting.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
That sounds awfully sexy.
Yeah. And then obviously we found out there's advice for 2 legendary lords. We've heard one, but we haven't heard the other. Then we found out that there's advice for a character who might be someone else. We don't know exactly who it is just yet. It mentions that Chaos Dwarfs are nearby. It's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of potential. Whether this means we get 2 legendary lords or more, we don't know. Maybe they were just testing with 2 legendary lords. But shall we go with the faction that we already know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So they confirmed the Legion of Asgore, which for me is big hype because that was Forge World money, man.
Yeah, and makes perfect sense because I mean we've got Tarmacon models in the Nurgle army, with the Plague Toads and the Pox Riders. So the fact that once again Tarmacon stuff is showing up with the Legion of Asgore, which was the Tarmacon Chaos Dwarf supplement, essentially. Yeah. It wasn't the full army, so to speak, but it was like it was just short of like a full roster for the Chaos Dwarfs.
Yeah, and it was pretty tasty. Like
beautiful minis,
and obviously overpowered because Forge World.
Yeah, well, I mean it was overpowered, but hey, you had to pay for that power. Someone showed up with a Legion of Asgore army, you were like, someone's got pockets. Because damn, son, that costs you how much?
Dreadquake mortar, jeez.
Yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous army, and I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I like they're legit of the like honestly when it comes to like the Vampire Coast, the Chaos Dwarfs, Norska, like the kind of like not fully developed races, the Chaos Dwarfs are the ones I've always been the most excited to see.
Yeah.
And it really seems like we're so close.
Yeah.
Which we'll include links in like the descriptions and stuff, but there's a YouTuber by the name of Mamba King who has the audio lines, which you can find on his YouTube channel. And it's literally just the advisor, like it's I think it's like 35 seconds, and it's one line of him talking, like Nathan said, to an unknown faction, warning them about the Chaos Dwarfs, and then the other one is him talking to the Legion of Asgore, it seems. Now my guess, I actually bet that he's not talking to a specific faction, the one where he's warning about the Chaos Dwarfs. I actually am thinking that's a piece of dialogue because it's so generic. I think that's something they're going to tack on to the races around the Chaos Dwarf starting locations that'll just be added on top of what they already have.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, both of the cuts, which I used for my own videos too, and obviously I credited him, they are cut. They are cut. They don't say the character, because normally when the advisor addresses you, he addresses you, you know?
Yeah, the legendary lord.
Yeah. So they're cut. It could be that they were left in the files because of that. Because trying to cut through those audio files, the way they CA have encrypted it is very difficult. Even for myself, who knows audio engineering and so on. But like, it is very complicated. So it's possible that they left it there just as a little bit of a hint for the future. I don't know, man. Like, it makes me think that we might, like, well, for the Chaos Dwarf, if it's the Legion of Asgore, it's definitely what's his name, Drazorf or something like that.
Yeah, Drazorf the Ashen.
Yeah, and then for this, the other one, it could literally be Boris, because Boris starts in the Darklands, you know.
It would make the most sense.
Yeah. But it's exciting, man, because I don't know. Like, the only thing that concerns me about the Chaos Dwarfs right now is, are they going to look big hats? Or are they going to be the industrial look? Or is it going to be a nice little healthy mix?
I imagine it'll be a mix based on, like, how they've been doing everything. But, I mean, there's no way to know.
Yeah.
But, and you said there was a Taurus, or like a Great Taurus or a Bale Taurus rig.
Yeah. So
and So, sorry, go ahead.
The rig itself, because this is something very important for people to know, because I get fights about it a lot, but rigs get reused. So originally, the original skeleton is the ox from Cathay. However, this rig specifically has wings. So it's the ox, it's a cow, but it's got wings and so on. And it's linked to Chaos Dwarfs, as far as the modders in question have told me. So, this is likely that we're going to see the Great Taurus or the Bale Taurus in its smaller form. And for people who would be like, oh, we're not going to see the massive Forge World one, that's probably going into the Ashen's unique mount. Kind of like how Griffins for the Elves look different to Deathclaw, you know?
Yeah, could do something like that.
But it's exciting because obviously that's a very popular mount, and obviously that can then be a monster unit and all that. It's the rigging thing for people who don't know. Put it this way: Malagor and Kazrak both have the exact same rig. The only difference is Malagor has a wing attached to it.
Yeah, they heavily reuse skeletons.
Yeah,
like it is all over the damn place.
Yeah.
An interesting, I won't say who, but an interesting conversation I remember having with a developer around the time of the release of Total War Warhammer 2 is I remember having a discussion about the Horned One Riders, because if you play tabletop fantasy, if you said to somebody Horned One Riders, they would think skinks. Because if you played, there was Tichi Huichi's Raiders, which were a regiment of renown, but if you played the Southlands Lizardman list, you could just take Skink Horned One Riders as a generic unit.
Mm-hmm.
They were one of your special units. So you could have like a shitload of them.
Yeah.
So when they revealed Horned One Riders, I thought we were getting the Skink ones. But it turned out it was the Saurus Riders, which is not unprecedented, though in tabletop you could only take a Saurus on a Horned One as a character mount.
Yeah.
But they expanded it to be the unit. And I remember talking to the devs and being like, why isn't it the skinks? Like, couldn't y'all just use the skink animation? And they couldn't. And the reason is that there wasn't a skink skeleton that interacted with a cold one skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
They only had the skink skeletons for the pterodon and the flying mounts, not the ground ones. That is actually, interestingly, that's no longer the case. As when they added the Prophet and the Warlock, they created a skink rider for the Horned One because the Red-Crested Skink Chief can take it as a mount. So I am still hoping, very sincerely, that we can actually get access to those Skink Horned One riders at some point as a unit.
Yeah.
But that's just to go to show, like, there's a lot of skeleton recycling going on. And like it just shows up all over the place. Like the Cathayan dragons very heavily are inspired from the Coatl, or the Coatl was at least a test drive for them.
Yeah,
I think the dragons work much better than the Coatl does. So hopefully the Coatl will get an update when we get Lizardman Warhammer 3. But like it's just it's a way to save cost, but the game is so like goddamn big. I don't blame them at all. Like it's just the way the system works.
Yeah, it's that's why a lot of people were already speculating. Say for example, when the Gorgon was added in, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to get Keepers of Secrets because this is obviously going to use the same skeleton.
Yeah, and that's very likely the case. I think they actually have an almost identical running animation where the blade arms are like Naruto runned back and then the main arms are forward.
Yeah.
It's just that the Keeper Secrets run faster.
Yeah.
and obviously they have different animations.
Yeah.
But seem built, and that may not, and like it can be difficult to tell, but like you can, if you look carefully, you can often see inspirations and similar systems and stuff like that. But in any event, something random I'm going to bring up. This is I didn't put this on the schedule because I just remembered it. Have you seen that they've actually added a greenskin mount in Warhammer 3?
I did.
Have you seen the characters on the chariots?
I did, and there seems to be possibly more. It's not confirmed just yet, but yeah, the wolf chariot's there now for the big boss.
Yeah.
And
I think there's boar chariots for the some of the. I think it's the Orc War Boss and the Black Orc Big Boss.
Yeah. So there's does seem to be a few mounts, and nobody's too sure why. Some modders are actually data mining through it because sometimes unlocking that information is quite difficult. But it's very curious, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not a surprise. I think it's been covered on quite a few videos, like Mandalore's review video. But there's also been some surprisingly notable graphical updates to a lot of the Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, mostly Warhammer 1 models.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly they've been chunking away at a lot of the older stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was very obvious when you compared 1 to 2 that 1 was getting a bit old. But now it looks a bit more updated. For some reason, my Call Franz looks like he's just like a fresh newborn baby, though. He's very pink.
He chiseled that chin.
Like, he is very, very pink. It's weird.
Probably some kind of weird lighting update. If there's one thing they like fucking around with between games, it's lighting.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Maybe they're... Like, the speculation going on from people in the community is that maybe we're going to get a few mounts for maybe 1 or 2 races when the Immortal Empires comes out in its form.
I'd be down for it.
Yeah, if they want to do like a few...
I remember being kind of shocked we didn't get Chariot greenskin characters with Grom, because that seems like it would have been an easy addition, but maybe they've kind of had that sitting in the back.
Yeah.
And just got to a point where they're like, okay, somebody finished it, so let's just throw it in there.
Yeah.
It's just funny seeing these kind of unceremonious updates just in the game. Like, they don't even mention it or anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. We don't know exactly what they want to do, but the new mount is big hype, especially for Gobbo players, and Gobbos are generally quite popular.
Yo, I love having themed armies.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to have, like, an army of orcs that's led by, like, a dude on a chariot. And, like, being able to put the big bosses on chariots is super nice. Like, a goblin big boss on a wolf chariot and an black orc big boss on a boar chariot. That's kick-ass. Like, that adds a whole new dimension to those characters.
Yeah. And there was speculation, again, falling around that we might get the reason why we might be getting the Gobbo chariot is because it might be for a certain other Gobbo faction.
Oh, it could be Hobgoblin related. That's true.
Because they're big on wolves.
Yes, and we will talk about them in just a bit.
Yeah.
Let's see what do we have next on the agenda. Oh, actually no, we can talk about it now. So we've got the old. So let me pull up my
let me just get
picture here.
Display capture. Where is it?
Yeah, so Games Workshop put out a pretty hefty post, basically showing off a lot of the Warhammer world. They even included a hilariously garbage map from, like, 1st edition or 3rd edition or something, back in the 80s. But they showed us this sexy new map for Grand Cathay, which just shows how absolutely titanic it is, and also shows how squished Warhammer 3 is. But because, like, the Warpstone Desert is just massive on this map. But it's a beautiful map.
Nice.
And they have a lot of really cool little icons that are very fun to analyze. Like, there are some Beastmen icons down in the forests. We can see, like, the Dragon Lake, and you can see the Weijin, the Dragon River. They've got a lot of the terracotta statues marked out, and they've got for us that we got Jin Yang, who of course is the Celestial Dragon Emperor, represented kind of in the center of Cathay, and then we've got Miao Ying and Zhao Ming, obviously, because those are the two they really want to show off with Total War Warhammer 3.
Yeah.
But like it really looks like the entirety of Cathay is developed.
Yeah.
We just don't get to see it yet on this map, and of course, there's a pretty fascinating upgrade to north of the Great Wall, which is that north of the Great Bastion, we see they've actually kind of fleshed out the Eastern Steppes much more interestingly, having the Kazakhs and the Hung being the dominant forces north of the Great Wall. However, north of the Stone Sky Mountains, we have the grounds, the ruling grounds of the Hobgoblin Khanate.
Big hype. Big hype.
Who have been showing up a lot in Warhammer the Old World. Like, practically every single Warhammer the Old World update has a mention of the Hobgoblin Khanate. Or just actively name drops them.
Yeah.
Like we saw them on the Kislev map. If you go look at the full Kislev map, you can see the Hobgoblin Khanate up at the top right once you get out of the Kislevite territory. But it seems like they are absolutely going to be coming in as a major faction.
Yeah, like it's kind of exciting, mainly because hobgoblins were, for some reason, and I don't understand it, they were always widely requested. And I'm probably going to get cannibalized for this, but I don't see why they're so popular, because it's goblins.
Hey, you and me both, man. We're both in that boat. I don't get it. Like, it's like, why don't you just play Greenskins? And they're just like, no, Hobgoblins. Like, okay, play Castors. And like, no, I want a whole Hobgoblin faction. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah. And now it's odd because they did do like you mentioned, they mention them all the time. Then they mentioned another Hobgoblin unit which we've had in lore, but these were the Hobhounds. So it's
Hobhounds.
This is going to be like really exciting, because if they get their own book, or at the very least a supplement, especially since we know that hobgoblins exist in Age of Sigmar too, that's a very big interesting thing. It's like, well, what's happening? Why? What could be coming?
Yeah, well, and man, the Old World, like, they're fleshing out. I will say, getting Cathay is a huge relief. Because my biggest fear with Warhammer the Old World was that it was just going to be the Old World to start, and they weren't going to expand outside of that.
Yeah.
Cathay is hilariously far out.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't even given us a map of the Darklands or the Mountains of Morn yet.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't shown us anything between Cathay and the rest of them. So I'm really thinking it's that, although obviously I don't think they may show us the entire thing right away, I do strongly believe that Warhammer the Old World is going to be the entire planet.
Yeah.
Like, Warhammer the Old World is not about the Old World. It's about the Warhammer Fantasy planet.
Yeah.
At different stages in time.
Yeah. I mean, I had that theory from the very beginning when they announced the Old World, because they had that interview with Ben and Andy Hall, and they said, oh, Warhammer the Old World is going to be what 30k is to 40k. I was like, oh. And then I was like thinking, maybe they'll just do everything that's already there, because then they can just keep selling us the unupdated Lizardmen models and so on.
Yeah.
But this looks very interesting. Obviously, once
Please, God, plastic minis. Please, God, plastic minis. Please.
Once they announced Cathay for Warhammer 3, I was like, we're definitely getting this for Old World. It's the only thing that makes sense. And then they started showing off Cathayan art, because they've been showing off Old World art for Cathay and not outright confirming Cathay. And I got into so many arguments. It's like, look, it's got the Old World logo on it, dumbass. Like, this is coming.
Dude, there's so many, like, I say this with all the love in my heart. There's so many stupid people in this community. They just don't believe us, man. I told them Boris was going to be in the game. Didn't believe me. We told them Indy Koresh were going to be in the game. Didn't believe us. Bunch of dummies. Bunch of dummies.
It's like, it was
We told them that Warriors of Chaos and Demons of Chaos are going to be separate. Didn't believe us. Bunch of dummies.
Well,
bunch of dummies.
It's just like, it's the thing. It's like, I know Cathay is coming at this point. We know it's coming. Like, GW is not going to invest time making a book and then doing artwork and then putting all this time and effort, because this costs money, man. This costs a lot of money. And they're not going to just do it for a game.
The video game.
Yeah, they don't.
It's advertising for something they're going to do. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, which gives me hope that a Vampire Coast book will come out, because holy crap.
Oh, they have to.
They have to, because I will cry, man. I will cry.
Oh, speaking of vampires, just a random heads up for anyone listening. For pre-order this week and next week, for 2 weeks, Cursed City is on pre-order. Mm-hmm. It is a super fun game. And they have 100% confirmed that this current pre-order is a made-to-order run. So if you order it, you'll get it 100%. You might not get it for like a month or two, but you're going to get it. Mm. I can tell you from personal experience, it is a stupidly fun game. Mm. It's a bit of a bitch to set up like a session, but when you get into a session, it's a ton of fun. Also, they've confirmed that later, so probably in the summer or fall, it will be returning as a regular release, so you won't have to pre-order it anymore. And they're going to be releasing expansions for it. I just wanted to bring that up because I would hate for people to miss out on the game.
Yeah.
It is a very hardcore dungeon crawler with 9 playable characters who have very different playstyles, and it's a ton of fun. And if you have any interest in board games, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah. But
anyway, sorry, I just had to. I just had to plug that.
No, I know, because it's one of those things that just disappear. But Cathay is going to be exciting. I mean, we for legendary lords, lord options in tabletop aspects. I'm curious to see what they'll do with transformation and so on, because,
they'll just do it like they did Morathi. That was basically a test run for it. AOS true. Morathi had a transformation mechanic.
That's true. Yeah.
You would just pop her ability. It would say, okay, remove her model from the table and put her other model on the table within X amount of inches. Hell, we did that in Fantasy with Transformation of Caden. Remove the wizard and put the monster wizard like within 6 inches. It was the same thing.
Well, the wizard would still stay in the battlefield though, because you could snipe him.
Not in 8th edition. You replace the wizard. You would turn into the monster.
Really? So yeah. I never really used that.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't keep the monster on the table. The wizard became the monster. So the wizard's stat line was the monster stat line. If the monster dies, the wizard dies.
Right. See, that lore of magic is something that let's be honest, it's a shitty lore of magic.
Lore of Beast could be okay, but it was definitely not as good. I will say, Bretonia, it could be scary, because they would use Transformation of Caden on their damsels. So you'd be like, oh, it's just a damsel, and they would turn into like a fucking dragon. Just like...
Yeah, but then you'd have to transform, and then if you're playing against Empire, the cannon turns around and...
Well, the thing that was super funny about it is that if you transformed in a unit, you would stay in the unit. So, like, you would still get, like, weird rules. But the real problem is that in your opponent's magic phase, it was a remains in play spell, so he would just dispel it, and then you turn back to a wizard and die.
It was
it was a good Hail Mary spell, but that's all it was. That's all it was good for.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Lord of Beast was terrible. You're right.
Yeah.
I think the only good spells was like maybe Amber Spear in specific circumstances, and Wizen's Wild Form was okay.
Yeah.
The rest of them were pretty.
So
anyway,
what do you think about? There's a running theory right now. So we're gonna go real big tin hat foil hat type of thing. I and a few others now think that obviously the Cathay Army book that was supposedly written for 8th is not written for 8th.
Oh, that was written for the old world?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. I mean, they've said that the new edition is going to be, like, pretty close to 8th. It's just going to have, like, some other rules from older editions.
Yeah, just get rid of Steadfast.
Yeah, Steadfast, but, like, I'm kind of almost expecting them to bring back maybe the old Magic system where you had, like, cards and stuff. But I could see that as a possibility. But, no, I don't believe for a second that they're like, oh, yeah, we made an 8th edition book and then totally stopped.
Yeah.
Like, I do believe that there's probably an 8th edition version of the book that has, like, okay, here are the characters that are alive during 8th edition. That might include, like, if they have, like, a Kung Fu Master character, he might only exist during the modern timeline and not during the old world timeline, Unless
they just change his name, simple as that. They could literally just go, they'll have a Kung Fu, like, master type of thing, call him Master something.
That's true. Or, they could do what they did in the old books, which is, like, just have characters that weren't alive during that time and just be like, fuck it, you can still use them. You can still use them.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of hated that because it was confusing.
I
But
don't think it's confusing. Like, it's fun. Like, I liked that if you played Vampire Counts, you could play with Vlad and Isabella.
yeah, but wasn't it in sixth or was it fifth that you could have Magnus the Pious? And it's like
That was definitely not in sixth.
could have been fifth, but like there was one that you could play as Magnus. It's like, but he's dead a long time now.
Well, I mean, I think they stopped it maybe in eighth, but you used to be able to play with multiple Manfred von Karstein profiles. Because you could play as Manfred the Acolyte or Manfred von Karstein.
Yeah.
Which is like, whatever. Like, I think as long as the character's iconic, who cares?
Yeah. But if we do get like this book released, basically anything that we do see for that book will essentially be DLC for Cathay, I think. Right?
Yeah, which is probably why they're not going to release it for a hot while.
Yeah.
Because I would just immediately give up the game
Yeah.
as far as like everything. Like, now we get to know what Onyx Crowmen look, or many-eyed Onyx Crowmen look like, and one-horned ogres, and the other dragon kids, and all this other crap.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, the Monkey King, and all the just all this stuff that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
But God, I want that book so bad.
Same.
I would pay hundreds of dollars for that book. And not even blink an eye. Like, I wouldn't even feel bad. I'd be like, this was money well spent.
Yeah. So people don't realize how bad the addiction is to tabletop stuff, especially for us old guard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, how long have we lived scrapping, digging for scraps in a dead world, trying to keep it going?
Pretty much. It's been a while.
And now we're on the cusp of its resurrection, like full resurrection. And it's like, man, fucking crazy times.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is so much exciting stuff.
Yeah.
So speaking of future content, I would like to read you a really cool excerpt that I think you will find super interesting. So there was a book recently published by Cubicle 7. The physical copies haven't gone on yet, but the digital copies have gone out.
Right.
Called The Imperial Zoo. And the Imperial Zoo features a bunch of monsters that have been updated to the modern lore for the roleplay game. And you and I are both keen, and we've talked about on the show before, that anything the other Warhammer Fantasy companies are doing is of interest, including Cubicle 7. Like, a lot of the times, we've seen that they are releasing stuff that then comes out. Like, we knew about Cathay because of Cubicle 7 before we did anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so check out this excerpt. So, you remember the Dreadmaw from the Monstrous Arcanum?
Yes, I've actually got one of them.
Right, so in fantasy, the Dreadmaw is just this giant worm thing. It's literally like one of the monsters from Tremors. Except for it's like way grosser and has way more teeth. And it just like, it pops out of the ground and eats you if it senses your vibrations. And if you're a monster, it can literally burrow into you and eat you from the inside, which is fucking disgusting and awesome. So check out this. They've added a new lore tidbit. So there's a posted note by one of the characters here that's from a Wizard of the Jade College. And it says the following. There are those within my order that believe the Dreadmaw, in fact, originally comes from the distant hinterlands of Koresh. Nightmarish tales involving the fabled Blood Naga queens say that the Dreadmaw were created, not born, created, to prevent easy travel from the west. Such tales could be entirely dismissed as irrelevant hearsay, if not for the fact that a cult dedicated to those distant horrors was uncovered in Sylvania just a few years ago. One that had been attempting to enact a terrible blood ritual that would summon a Dreadmaw even unto the Empire itself.
Interesting.
So the Dreadmaws are now scientific creations of the Blood Naga.
Very interesting, because if we go... Because they originally had lore...
They were just like random Chaos Waste beasties.
Yeah, they, like, so I'm on the Warhammer Warhammer Fantasy Wiki, which seems to have been updated with that, because my book is in the back. God, this is such a pretty model. Yeah, it says that they were, the basic thing, because obviously they copy-paste from the army book, well, the supplement. The Dreadmaw is a terrifyingly powerful subterranean creature which has haunted the mires of tainted sludge and ooze that stretch across the vast expanse of the Chaos Wastes. So yeah, we always saw these as a creature of chaos, but...
So check out the list of creatures that they include in the supplement that we don't have in Total War Warhammer, okay? Yeah. So the creatures they added, they've got the Dreadmaw. And I'll just focus on the ones that I think are relevant to Total War Warhammer. So like the Stirpike, but so you got the Dreadmaw, the Cameleo Leeches, the Finworms, the giant swamp snakes. So the Finworms are back. Night Ravens, which are like demonic bird creatures of nightmare that like supposedly don't exist. The Praeton is back.
And they're all
Cockatrice, Chimera, Great Taurus, the Trigara, which is the giant praying mantis monster, which actually got an upgrade in this book. It's bigger than it used to be.
Carry on without me for a sec.
Sure. The Merworm is back, and the Shard Dragon.
Microphone?
I can hear you.
Muted this mic. Wait, anyways,
no,
carry on.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Those are all fascinating creatures that I think there is a super, super high chance will be appearing in Total War Warhammer 3 for various races. Like, I would have the eyes out for Nathan. For Merworms, probably for the High Elves, Shard Dragons for the Dwarves, Dreadmaws for the Naga of Koresh when they arrive. Really? You went to go get the... Why?
Because...
Why would you go get the Monstrous Arcanum? I've got it, like, right there.
Well, I'm more confused as why this was in my kitchen.
I mean, I can't answer that for you.
Right.
Yeah, Praetons for Beastmen. Like, I think a lot of these beasties will be showing up in the near future.
Yeah, this is very curious, because I'm trying to find the stuff in relation to thingy, so it's... God, I love this book so much. Trying to find the...
They also did mermaids. They actually did a lot of interesting sea creatures, too, which makes me kind of think maybe fishmen are actually possible. Like, we got sirens, not sirens, because sirens are the Vampire Coast version. They did sirens/mermaids, and they are fucking terrifying, by the way. Their profile's nasty.
Well, I think, because there was a rumor going around that they, that GW kind of just wanted to flesh out everything that they established. So, like, they just kind of want to finish off possible factions and so on. Like, mermaids would be kind of fucking cool, man.
Yeah, but hey, dude. Every time Andy Hall, we've had him on, and he memes about fish people, it gives me hope, dude. Like, I know it is, like, the furthest of furthest reaches, but, like, I hold the faith. I hold the faith.
God damn, this is a bit... There we go, Dreadmaw. Sorry. Fuck. It's, yeah, it doesn't really... Yeah, because look, as a creature of the Northern Wastes, consistent exposure to the taint of chaos leaves no two Dreadmaw alike. So yeah, big.
Yeah, it's a retcon. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Too. But I like it. Like, the Dreadmaw looks like a big serpent. It makes sense that... I love the idea that the Naga unleashed it as, like, a deterrent. Like, it's literally basically, like, a way to antagonize people trying to go east.
Yeah, like...
To keep them out, you know?
It's a big thing. Like, I'll put it on... Oh, God, finding an image of a bloody Dreadmaw at the moment is...
Yeah, for me, it feels great because it actually gives the Dreadmaw a faction. Like, the Dreadmaw is one of the monsters of the Monstrous Arcanum that doesn't really belong to anybody. It's just kind of there.
Yeah. I mean, it's on screen right now for people watching on my side. I mean, it's such a pretty miniature, man. Like, yeah, it makes sense because of all
in a disgusting way, yes.
all the rows of teeth and all that. I mean, god damn. So, any other creature you think from the Monstrous Arcanum that could be part of Koresh?
Koresh? No, I think that's it.
I don't know, man. Maybe.
That being said, I do think every single monster from Monsters Arcanum would be in the game.
I mean, the Basilisk could kind of fit, couldn't it?
Yeah, I could. I would kind of expect to see the Basilisk with the Beastmen, but I could. It's lizardy enough that I could see it.
That is, it's so exciting. You know what I really want from this book, though, more than anything? The Etin.
Yeah, the Cursed Etin joining Norska.
It'd be so cool.
Get that big boy in there.
It'd be so freaking
You know what
cool.
I want? You know what I want? I want the 3 incarnate elementals to be Araby. I want those to be the Jinn.
Oh, yes, that would be
like,
so
dude,
fucking cool.
They're perfect. They're sick.
Yeah. God, that would be so fucking cool.
Oh, no, there's one more monster I think would join the Nagas, the Fenworm.
Fenworm, yeah. Where was this?
It's not in the Monsters Arcanum. It's in the old Warhammer Fantasy roleplay books.
Right.
It's like the Fenworm is considered the swamp dragon, but it's literally just a giant snake. That's all it is. It's a giant pissed off snake.
This is so exciting. Like, they have so much to go through. Like, I barely look at this book anymore, mainly because, let's be honest, the rules for this were a bit fucking shit.
There's a supplement coming out that's about the Winds of Magic. You know what monster is confirmed to be in that book? Famir Matriarchs. Like, it's happening. It's happening.
Do you think they'll be shoehorned into Norska?
Yes, they fucking better be.
I mean, it would be kind of cool if we had sub-factions, right?
Yeah, dude, I don't even need them to be a generic lord. Even if I only get, like, a legendary lord Famir Matriarch, I would take it.
No, they need a generic option, too. It's kind of like how Frog right now just sucks because you can't really roleplay monsters.
You could do Famir Nobles, because they're in the Monsters Arcanum. The Famir Noble which is the lord level version.
Yeah.
So then we'd have Matriarch Legendary Lord, Famir Noble as the Lord, Famir Balefiend as the hero, and then you'd have the units. And then for the generic caster hero, give us the Shaman, Sorcerer, Chieftain, or whatever the hell he'd be called.
Oh, the one from roleplay... no, actually from 3rd edition.
Sure. I was just making something up.
Yeah, there was a Shaman in 3rd edition. I've been going back a lot to 3rd edition.
Yeah, like, we have Shaman Sorcerers, we just need a Lord level version. And, what the hell, give us Sile the Faithless, I'd take him.
Dude, I would kill for him. I would absolutely kill for him, but just don't give him the dog shit treatment that fucking Krall has with Heinrich. Because you obviously have...
Nightmaw?
Yeah.
Nightmaw's so, like, not impressive, though.
Oh, he's fucking cool! There. No, he's fucking cool!
No, he's cool, but, like, I don't see why he wouldn't need to be a summon. Like, he's so haggard. He's literally just a chaos spawn.
I don't want to spend skill points on something that should be with him already, you know?
Like, Krell, to me, like, I could see the argument, because Krell's, like, an actual character. Like, Nightmaw, to me, just kind of feels like a goofy attachment.
I don't know, man. I love his miniature. I actually use him over... over the standard. Said,
I think what could be really cool is imagine if they gave Sile the Faithless, like, the Chaos War Shrine mount from the Warriors of Chaos book, but Nightmaw's what's carrying him on the altar instead of the regular guys. Like, that could be really cool.
That'd be cool. I mean, I want the shrines so bad. Like, we've got it with the mammoths and all that, which is fine, but, like...
it's not the same. I want the ugly mutant dudes carrying it.
Exactly. Like, it would just be so fucking awesome.
But, it's an evocative piece.
Yeah. But do you think if we ever get Sile, it'll go to Norska then?
I think so. I mean, he's a tribal guy more than anything.
Well, he's not Norscan though.
No, he's not Norscan. He's Drew something. It starts with a D.
Yeah.
It's like Dorgan or Dor. But, like, his whole thing is that he doesn't have a tribe.
Yeah.
Because he like backstabbed his tribe, now he just wanders around.
Yeah.
So like I think he fits fine with Norska because he doesn't really have a home. He just kind of shows up. The Dolgan, thank you. So like everybody hates him, so I think he'd be perfect for Norska because whatever, he's a dick. That's his whole MO.
Before we segment to another section, I actually want to talk to you about. I want to ask you some questions regarding what you think about the other tribes of chaos, because my main thing is they should just rename Norska to Northern Tribes or whatever, and then bring in Kurgans into it, bring in Hung into it, Hmong into it, Dolgans into it. Have different like northern tribes that we know are pretty much never ever going to get a fucking army book or their own race pack. Have them represented in a northern tribes thing. What do you think?
I could go either way with it. Like I don't think there's a definitive answer. Like I'm totally fine with them like renaming Norska to just Tribes of Chaos, and it's just like, okay, there's like they use the same roster, but maybe the Hung like tend to rely more heavily on Marauder Horsemen, and the Kurgan tend to be more themed around like the Kurgan are like I kind of like that the Kurgan are more of like a weird hybrid faction that has like a lot of Warriors of Chaos and a lot of Norskins, because the Kurgan are known for being like of the Warriors of Chaos, the Kurgan make up the highest percentage.
Yeah.
Like Norskins, the reason Norskins I think got that focus is that Norskins have a really unique, distinct culture that they like, and they're not nomadic. Like they live in a specific place.
Yeah.
They've developed a culture and a fighting style, and we see them a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Hung don't settle anywhere. They're just running around all the time.
Yeah.
And the Kurgan are basically just the Warriors of Chaos.
Yeah.
But I don't think renaming them to the Tribes of Chaos would be a bad thing at all. I think that would open up a lot more diversity.
Yeah.
But like I could also see CA being like, well, we already developed all, like they all yell Norska, like we have all these audio files and like we have all these visual files, and we don't want to change all that bullshit. Like I could see that, but
they could redo some voice files. Like for example, the Marauders of Slaanesh have a lot of the generic voice lines of Marauders, and then they go Marauders of Slaanesh, which is a weird pronunciation because for some reason, but
Brits, what are you gonna do? Like, they just gotta change the way things sound.
Yeah, but like they could just do that, like just make it a little bit more there, because obviously like they're obviously going to be recording more voice lines, because what we have seen is that we do have, say for example with the Warhammer free races, some of them even have battle intros like the old Total War games. So that doesn't, that if they're doing that, you might
I don't think I think it would be great. Like I would prefer the Tribes of Chaos to just Norska.
Yeah.
Norska feels like an unnecessary pigeonhole. Like Norska made sense for Warhammer 1. I don't think it makes sense for Warhammer 3.
Yeah.
That being said, if they didn't change it, I wouldn't really care. Like, it's just it is what it is.
See, I would, because like Norska to me is not represented too well. Like they made all the Norska like it's the whole edgy, we fought monsters and we became them. It's like, bro, a lot of you have tribes which are just basic traders. None of you are fighters. Like, I don't know what lore they're going through, but it wasn't represented. Like, we know there's Norscan tribes which are just pretty chill, right? That's why a lot of Nordlanders have Norscan blood.
Yeah, they kind of seem to like cycle in and out of existence.
Yeah.
Depending on like who's writing or what's going on.
Yeah.
Like in an Archaon situation, it seems like they're basically like either you go with the wave or you're gonna get run over.
Yeah.
So in that case, they're all baddies.
Yeah.
But during times of peace, they're more nuanced. I do kind of hope that they work on the AI. I would love to see the Norscan AI tweaked a little bit, so that some of the tribes are really aggressive, especially towards summoners, and some of them are less aggressive and more interested in just like trading and establishing, like especially since we have the outpost system.
Yeah.
I would love if they had like one or two Norska factions who were more interested in being traders and establishing like outposts with like the southern human factions to represent that. like I wouldn't make them the playable guys. You know, obviously Wolfric and Throg are dicks. Are gonna like curb stop those guys.
Yeah.
But like, hey, maybe you could make an ally with them and try and defend them. You know, I think that would be really fun. But you know, it's just one of those minor things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tribes of Chaos would be a lot more interesting.
It's just quality. It opens it up for more because we know there is some stuff in the RPG and so on to add in for Norska. And let's be honest, like we are expecting a Norska DLC in the future, aren't we? We all are. And you go through the lore, and it's like, well, they kind of already have everything because they even had new stuff added in for them.
I think there's like one big DLC missing, which is literally just like it's mostly monster stuff. Like I don't really think there's much in the way of human stuff missing. We're really just missing like those bestial creatures.
Yeah.
But no, I absolutely agree. And you're right, because like if they added in those other tribes, like that adds in a lot more flavor and a lot more like start positions too.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're the Tribes of Chaos now. So now we've got Sail the Faithless leading the Dolgan. He starts like way over here. And we're gonna add in like we're gonna add in like I don't know what other characters they would pull from, but we could add some other character who's like leading maybe over Nagaroth now and stuff like that.
I mean, they could easily do Eagle for Norska.
Yeah, Egil Steersborn, yeah.
Yeah, put him in Norska and then make Wolfric fuck off to like somewhere to be an actual wanderer.
Yeah. Like, or I don't care, make fucking Sirtha Ek a legendary lord. Whatever, who cares?
Yes. No, they should. They should. Yeah. Just for the meme.
Yeah, Sirtha Ek, the one true chariot lord. Though, I will say, if Sirtha Ek ever becomes a legendary lord, son of a bitch better have a wolf chariot as his unique mount. Like, I want an ice wolf chariot for a character. We don't have one of those, and I think that's so dumb.
Yeah. Plus, like, if they do a DLC and they don't rename it, like, I don't want Norska to have only just, like, 3 legendary lords or 4 with an FLC. Like, every other race is getting, what, 5, 6 so far? From what we've seen. I mean, well, the Lizardmen have 7, don't they? But, like, it would be nice to have options.
Yeah, well, like, if they came out and they're like, okay, we've got Throg for trolls, we've got Wolfric for, like, the more, like, wandery, classic Warriors of Chaos Norska mix-over. We've got, like, maybe a Famir Matriarch for, like, the more sinister, monstrous, and magical side. We've got Sail the Faithless for, like, shamans. And then we got, like, Egil Steersborn for something. Or Sirtha Ek for chariots. Exactly. Like, whatever. Like, that would be a good list of 5. You know? That would be good. Good job. Great.
Yeah. Oh, someone just said he actually starts with that mount right now.
What mount?
Do you mean that Sirtha Ek starts with a wolf mount? We'll wait for him to respond, but that was kind of interesting.
If he does, that is news to me.
Yeah.
I would be thrilled, but Sirtha Ek pulled by 2 mammoths, that would look so bad. That would look so terrible.
I mean, it's like I see loads of people saying like Bjorn Bearstruck and so on. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Bjorn Bearstruck would be cool. I would be down for Bjorn Bearstruck over Sirtha Ek, to be honest. Like Sirtha Ek definitely has a lot of meme. Like, it's literally just for the meme, but at the same time, if you haven't played the first 2 games, you just have people like, who the fuck is Sirtha Ek? Yeah. Or like the first game, actually. You can play Warhammer 2 and have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. I was talking to like people who have been playing the games, and I made a joke about Sirtha Ek, and people were just like, "Who the fuck is Sirtha Ek?" And I'm like, "Oh, I feel old now."
Oh yeah, he does start with an ice wolf.
What do you mean you don't know who Sirtha Ek is?
Apparently, he starts with an ice wolf chariot. Didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool.
In Warhammer 2?
It must be, yeah, because he's not in Warhammer 3. I've not seen it.
No, he's not.
But that's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. Honestly, there's loads of possible characters they can go for. The great thing is that...
You know what? Yeah, I think I would change... That is my list. I would go Wolfric the Wanderer is kind of like your more human character. Throg for trolls, and give him more trolls. Where are my bio trolls? CA. And where my armored chaos trolls, CA, like give Throg all the trolls.
Yeah.
Then I would do a Famir matriarch for like the seedy spooky monsters. I would do Sail the Faithless for the sorcerers.
Yeah.
The shamans. And then I would do Bjorn Bearstruck as like the were creatures. So he comes in with werebears. He is the big werebear legendary lord, and he also has a lot of buffs for skin wolves. I think that would be like a... And then Wolfric specializes in like marauder champions and chariots. I think that would actually be a really good mix of 5.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, because that's something that that would be very, very... Yeah, that would be... I would be into that. I would be into that.
Yeah, and Sail the Faithless could be like shamans and mammoths, because in Tarmakon he is a big thing with mammoths.
Yeah. Yeah, he has like an army of them, doesn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, he does. They get absolutely shit on it at the Tower of Asher, but yeah, he had an army of mammoths that got absolutely annihilated. But yeah.
Oh, this is something that was data mined. I've just remembered, and I want your opinion on it. End times art, specifically Nagash's.
Great.
What do you think?
If they don't use End Times Nagash, End Times Thanquol, Storm Fiends, Vermin Lords, I would be extremely upset.
I mean, it opens up.
Like, there are things from the End Times that need to be in the game.
Yeah, I mean, my argument with people, because a lot of people go, "Oh no, End Times, no!" It's like, yeah, but the models look fucking cool. Yeah, just don't do the
storyline. Fuck the storyline.
Yeah. Well, my theory is that we are already in the end times, because that's kind of how the game works. If we look at the plot of the game,
if Archaon is invading, textbook definition, it's the end times. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
He's Archaon, Lord of the End Times. This is what his name literally means.
Literally. So it's like, well, it brings up the possibility. Like, I think Nagash is coming because he's way too much of a cross promotion. Like, that mini's £100. People are going to buy it, you know?
Well, and I want it. I want to see that thing animated. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, and the thing for me is that, like, the End Times storyline sucks. I don't need it.
Yeah.
The Incarnates, don't need it. But anytime we got new minis, give me.
Yeah.
Gimme. Like, I wouldn't even be upset if we got, like, Putrid Blight Kings and, like some of that AOS stuff
I want them
in there.
I want them.
Like,
I want them.
Yeah, like, the Glotkin, I would not be upset if he showed up. He's not, by any means, my top pick for Nurgle stuff. But if he showed up, I'm not going to be like, ugh. Like, I'd be like, all right. I'd rather have Tarmakon, personally.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, I would gladly take as much of the minis from the End Times as they'll give us.
Yeah. I mean, I always used it as this argument. They established the lore during the End Times and the novellas and so on. That, like, say, for example, Scar Bloodwrath and all the Blood Warriors and so on, right? Like, they existed prior to the End Times. Same as the Morghast. They were there thousands of years before the End Times. And it's like, well, yes, it's End Times, but they existed in lore prior by that book.
Yeah, they're in a whatever gray zone. Like, and it would not be that upsetting. Like, I wouldn't care, especially for like the more monogod themes.
Yeah,
because like I look at the demons, and this is something I think needs to be talked about. Frankly, is that when you're looking at the demons, what the hell are they gonna do for the demons? Like, Andy Hall has literally told you and me on the last whatever last episode we had him on, that they're not monogod. They are demons of chaos with some warrior salt added in.
Yeah.
Which is great, but like I'm looking at it and I'm like, how the fuck do you like expand this roster without looking at the new stuff?
Simple.
Like, if you look at AOS, Infernal Raptuous for Slanesh, awesome. Even though it's an AOS model, but that's fine. For Nurgle, Sloppity Bilepiper, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't mind those new demons. And, like, if they do the same thing with Mortals, where, like, we get monogod Mortals that have a little bit of demon supplement, and maybe, like, there's some undivided stuff they don't have access to that's maybe exclusive to, like, Archaon and Kolek.
Yeah.
Like, Blissbarb Archers, Okay.
Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Like, Bloodstalkers? Okay. Putrid Blight Kings? Okay. Like,
Yes.
I don't, whatever. I don't fucking care. Just give it to me. Like, Puscoil Blight Lords? Alright, give it to me. You know, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I just, like, I don't want to see Sylvaneth. I don't want to see Lumineth. I don't want to see any of that.
No.
But, like, just the Forces of Chaos. And I don't want to see, like, the Mindstealer Spherex or the Ogroid. Like, any of the stuff that, like, it just doesn't work.
What looks fantasy. Warhammer Fantasy should be in Warhammer Fantasy. That's the main thing.
If it's a human or it is a demon that, like, I would say no to the Gaunt Summoner, for instance. Because it's like a special character, there's only 9 of them.
Yeah.
Leave them in AOS. But, like, Zongors, and like all their variants. Give me my Mono God Beastman. What the fuck, CA? Mono God Beastman. Like, I think they would be fools not to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand how else you could expand the demon rosters.
Well, this is the thing, because they always make those really weird, like, they made that weird thing. It's like, oh no, we're basing on Age of we're not basing on Age of Sigmar at the end times. We're
but we both know, and we're gonna just say it. That is obviously bullshit.
Yeah.
And the only reason they say that is to placate the people who throw a huge bitch fit just by hearing those words.
Yeah, it's literally that. Because same thing with, actually the best example would be one of those ancient units, the Doom Knights. They never existed. Ever.
Yeah, no.
And these are new. These are stuff that we're going to see literally in Old World for sure. Because they wouldn't design it and then not run it in Old World. And those would fit so nicely on 40mm bases flying around. Like, just...
How do I feel about Cruel Boys half-orcs? Listen, if Games Workshop makes it work, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, they kind of fit, because we did have our half-orcs in...
Yeah, like, if Games Workshop comes out and they go, hey, take your Cruel Boy minis and you can use them with, like, these circumstances and here's the lore behind it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Fine.
Just like you said, as long as it's not far-fetched, like bringing in the Idenef or even the Luminef and all that stuff, because that stuff is just a bit out there. But
yeah, there is stuff that crosses the line.
Yeah,
like it's hard to describe, but if you're like experienced with fantasy, there's a super obvious line.
Yeah,
like when you're looking at Cruel Boys, a lot of the stuff you'll look at and go, yeah, no, this is totally fine.
Yeah.
But like some of their monsters, you can look at and go, that's a little much.
Yeah.
Like the giant, like the giant troll monster that's like a bent over troll and it's got the huge howdah and stuff. That one's a little over the top.
Yeah.
But like the regular Cruel Boys, no, they work perfect in a greenskin army.
Yeah.
The Killabeaks, the giant vulture monsters, it's fine.
Yeah. It's the case about bringing in just some stuff to flesh out. Chaos desperately needs it because look, I don't know how have you played all the factions for Chaos yet?
Yeah.
Like, Nurgle is struggling, man.
Nurgle is very pigeonholed. Well,
yeah.
I don't... The demon rosters are weird. In that, like, a lot of them are missing, like, a critical component. Like, Nurgle does not have, like, a single anti-large unit.
That's all.
Like, it just doesn't have the anti-large. It's like, why does Nurgle not have halberds? Like, at all. Like, I can understand being like, oh, his demons don't have anti-large, but it's like... Where are my Chaos Warriors of Nurgle with halberds? Like, I really don't understand why those aren't in there.
Yeah.
I am very curious to see what they're going to do. And I'm totally open to them using a lot of those, like, gorgeous minis we have.
Yeah. Just make it. We'll buy it. Just make the factions work well. That's all I care.
Weren't the Varangard or... AOS, like, by 1,000 billion miles. Varangard did not show up in AOS until fairly deep into first edition.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't mind some of, like, the mortals, if the mortals are done well, like, the Chaos, the what are they called? Bloodbound or something for Khorne?
That's what the faction was originally called. The two units that showed up were the Blood Warriors.
Yeah.
And it was actually 3 units because the Blood Warrior kit could be made one of 2 ways. I think it was like Blood Wrath Stalkers, which were the guys with like the big whip chains.
Oh no, yeah, but those are end times. Those are end times.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you asking about?
Let me go on the website because it's just like having a bit of different looks, make them a higher tier, make them like Chaos Chosen and so on. Okay, Blades of Corn. Yeah, you were thinking of Wrathmongers.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like yeah, the Blood Warriors. The Blood Warriors.
Yeah, they're like the Putrid Blight Kings of the Corn roster. They're just bigger warriors.
Yeah, like give us those. Give us the Blood Reavers. Give like as a unique
Blood
Marauder
Reavers.
type.
That was the unit I was trying to think of. Yeah,
because that would be kind of cool just to have some variety.
Yeah, and I would be fine if they don't even call them that. Like they're just like, oh, they're chosen of Corn, but like they're very obviously based off, that. And I just want them to have good full size rosters.
Yeah.
Like the demons, to me, Cathay and Kislev, I'm like, okay, these feel good, and they feel like a faction that is gonna have some really cool DLCs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I look at the demons and I'm like, I don't know where you take this.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where you take this.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like I have to play Demons Undivided to have a full faction.
Yeah. Which is odd.
Even though it's banned in multiplayer because they haven't figured out how to balance it yet. I think they will figure it out eventually. Probably when the other races get added into the game. I don't think that race will be too OP anymore. But for right now, it's too OP because it's just such a big roster.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have very, very high hopes for the game's future. And I was talking to Nathan about this before the stream, and I'll go ahead and say it. But one other thing we do need to talk about is they put out an announcement about patches.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the game has some weird issues, which I don't know about you, Nathan, but I can absolutely attest to the fact that there are far more issues in the game post-launch than there was in the content creator build, which I have never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Ever. So super weird.
I had a variety of different issues at the beginning when the drops happened because my stuff was super framey. Turns out that it's just the game's not optimized for 4K, which is weird because a lot of people have a lot of 4K. But it got stable when we got that last patch and so on, and then live happened, and then what the fuck happened?
Yeah, like we cannot iterate how strange it was. Every content creator I talked to had the same problem. Like, the game was running great, and then they released the live build. We got the live build, like, I think 2 or 3 days before the game went live, and it was like, holy crap, this is bad. Yeah. Like, this is way worse. Go back. Go back to the last build. So, I have no idea what happened there. But, in any event, CA has put out a statement basically saying that they are aware of all the issues. They have a message both on their forums and on their Steam page. Weirdly, they didn't post it on Twitter, really. Like, the Twitter links to, I think, the Steam page. But basically, the article outlines all the issues, and they address some of, like, the theories behind the issues to say, like, okay, like, this issue is not caused by this, which we know a lot of people are saying it is, yada, yada. And then they basically said that there will be a big patch coming out that's going to hopefully fix a lot of these issues, but it's not coming out till, like, April. And I told Nathan, though, I highly suspect that's because it's going to come with the DLC. Because, like, that's standard for Total War Warhammer, is that we usually get our first DLC roughly a month after release. Now, because this release was a little bumpy, I'm expecting it to be a month and some change. But I would not be shocked at all that we're going to get our first either Lord pack or Race pack or something in April, because that would line up with how Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 went.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm going to outright say this, and I know a lot of people are going to get angry. I don't believe we should wait for patches to accompany DLC, because a lot of people will then obviously, like, people want DLC now, and that's fine. It's the same thing when I talked about the Immortal Empires, and everyone was like, oh no, we want it now. It's like, that's not going to fix the issues. If anything, that might have more issues. Like, I like the idea that they're being vocal about this, because let's be honest, in the past, CA kind of just releases and hides, right? So at least now they're engaging with people. And this is very good, because we deserve this. As a community, as players, as fans, we do need to find out about these types of issues and then they're going to actively look at them. But like, you know, it's a bit weird, man. Like, it's leading to a bit of a bleeding for the player base too, which is kind of what concerns me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's. I don't think there's an easy solution because I could see the argument of like, why? I feel like the same team that does the patches is probably the same team that's developing the new content, and I imagine for them it's a lot easier to have it on like one branch where they're just doing it all together as one thing, and then they're able to release what they hope will be a stable build, as opposed to if they did like a patch and then 2 or 3 weeks later a DLC comes out and just totally fucks the patch, right?
Yeah.
It's probably better to have it bundled. Like, it's annoying because it means we have to wait like longer than we really want to or should,
Yeah,
for some really important and simple fixes. Like, at least they got us like a mini patch out last week,
yeah,
that fixed a lot of multiplayer stuff and had a few little things in there. But no, like, I totally understand the frustration and I sympathize with it entirely. I just don't think it's I think it's a no-win situation from their perspective of like we could release the patch when it's like earlier, but that might mean it has to have like a dedicated team, and which means it might not necessarily be working with the DLC team. And then when the DLC team drops something, it just immediately breaks everything again.
yeah,
Whereas at least there's a chance that won't happen. Now, obviously, those of us who are experienced with Total War know that usually when a DLC comes out, there's a lot of fuckery. But, like, something weird is going to happen, because it's never what you expect to break. It's usually, like, some old bug that used to be fixed comes back, or some other nonsense.
yeah.
But it's kind of the nature of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's just it's concerning because, like, you know, someone pointed it out once on the thing, and obviously you have to take into account that there's other factors like Epic Games and so on. The only one that we do have a knowledge on is Steam charts, but the game came out and it peaked at 166,000 on Steam, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great, especially for a strategy game.
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's down to 40k now on the weekend. On the weekdays, it's down to like 25k. And it's like, those are Warhammer 2 numbers, man.
Yeah, well, I'm not expecting the game to have like a big explosion that then stays consistent until we get Immortal Empires.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think a lot of people downloaded the game and played it and they're like, this is fun, but I'm waiting for what my mind tells me is the full game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is the combined game.
Yeah, and they're probably still working on that and all that, which is fine, because like I have the like Mortal Empires came out 1 month after Warhammer 2, right?
Yeah, and it was a total clusterfuck.
I don't know if we're like from like this is just me thinking. I don't think we're gonna get it a month after Warhammer 3 releases. I think it'll be a bit longer.
My current estimate is 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, if the map had not been in the game and we didn't have confirmation that they've already been working on it, then I would have said 6 months.
Yeah.
But since we know they've been plucking away at it and already working on it, I'm thinking 3.
Yeah. And like didn't Mortal Empires like Mortal Empires had a lot of issues at launch, didn't it?
Well, yeah, because it was using like a completely different Warhammer 1 build.
Yeah.
Like, and they learned from that mistake, but like, you know, remember Norska wasn't playable for like a year or 6 months or something obnoxious.
Yeah, it was a bit
and
of a
like
shit show.
and like all of the updates they had put in Warhammer 1 weren't in there, so we were playing with like the old Warhammer 1 and it was awful. It was awful.
So my question to you, say it's 3 months, right? So game came out in February, that would mean May. Would that be too late?
I don't think so. I actually think that would be perfect timing. Catch everybody as they're getting out of college or like getting out of school and stuff. And you're going into a summer, they pay Turin to do like a really big tournament. Community starts really bumping in the summer. I think that'd be the perfect time to be like, hey, you want to sink 200 hours into a campaign that lasts for 600 turns? We got you covered. Who needs sleep? It's summer.
I don't know. I just get kind of worried because it's like, it's a bit of a distance. Like, if they've got DLC planned prior to that, like, I don't know.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
I bet they do. There's something's coming out in April. I'm telling you. I don't know what. Something's coming out in April.
I really hope so, because
Either a Lord pack or Chaos Dwarfs or like maybe an update for like Northscar Warriors of Chaos or something. Something's coming in April.
Could be the Blood Pack. That's
I think it'll be. I don't think they usually don't release the Blood Pack as like the month's DLC. It's usually like randomly just out there somewhere.
No, it was the first DLC for both games. That's the thing, and it came out, I think, what, 2-3 weeks after launch.
Yeah, which we're pretty much already at that point.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that if they release Blood now, there will be throwback. There will be.
Yeah, I think honestly they should just like basically hide it with a more exciting DLC. Like I would release like let's say Chaos Dwarfs are the first DLC. I would literally go like Chaos Dwarfs, and then like literally the next week I'd be like, what back? Like just slide it in there while nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. It's possible. It's just because
they know everybody fucking hates it.
Yeah.
Like every single time I talk to somebody that even people that like barely play the game, that shit comes up.
Yeah,
like I was literally on a podcast yesterday or 2 days ago with like some streamers that like Total War Warhammer really isn't their thing, but
yeah.
you know, we're talking about the game and stuff. Literally one of the things that came up in like the first 15 minutes was like, what's up with that blood pack thing? It's like, oh fuck me, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't nobody knows, okay? Nobody knows why they do this. Like there's some asshole up at Sega that knows the true reason, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, like I don't know what the
that ratings thing, that's bullshit.
It has
that's
to be
total bullshit. There's no way that's what it is.
I'm playing through the realm of Khorne now, and I'm seeing literal rivers of blood and fountains of blood. I'm playing through the realm of Sinetra. I'm seeing literal fucking vaginas on the wall spitting out discharge. But
yeah,
no, blood pack DLC.
Play Nurgle and literally shit people to death. But like acidic diarrhea, like how's the blood pack gonna make that worse?
It's not even a blood pack though. It's fucking jam. It's just, ow! I got hurt in my arm and there's jam all over me now.
Yeah, there's a reason to it, but it has to be like something really high up at either Creative Assembly or Sega or something. But it's not in the devs' hands. That's the only thing I can say for certain.
Yeah.
The devs don't get to decide that.
Yeah.
Like that's clearly coming from somebody higher up who doesn't have to deal with the community.
Yeah.
Because like I've talked to people from CA about it in like private chill conversations where they have no reason to bullshit me, and they still are like, no dude, it's the rating thing. It's like that is literally impossible. But that's what they believe because that's what they've been told.
Yeah.
So like it's like I don't know, it's like a weird mystical thing. I don't know what, but maybe one day when we die and we go to wherever the afterlife is, that's what they tell us.
Yeah.
Why we had to do the blood pack. That's what they tell you after you die. But yeah. I'm excited for the game. Like I'm still enjoying it. It's fun to stream. Like
yeah.
I've been playing a Scrag campaign right now and it's stupid fun.
Yeah. Oh, the Ogre's are in a very good place.
Yeah, like I think Greases could use a little bit of fine-tuning, but Scrag is ridiculous. Like Scrag is so over the top strong. It's like, oh, I could just instantly win everything because I've got 10 Gorgers.
Yeah.
I will say, one of the funniest things to me that I don't understand is how they applied the logic of the Beast of Nurgle is a single entity that was a single entity on tabletop, but you could run it in a unit, right? So you could have a unit of Beasts of Nurgle, but they're like, no, it has to be a single entity. But then the Gorger was a single entity on tabletop, and now it's a unit. Why? Why is the Gorger a unit? That makes it so much scarier than it used to be.
It's a bizarre thing. They must have their reasons. It's probably because they were just ogres too. It's the same reason why man-eaters right now are units when they should be like ultimate Death Star heroes. Because
but they were never gonna pull that off. Like that would be such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of hoping that if and when we get Goldfog, that he has like a customization system for his man-eaters where you can like upgrade them with cool abilities and stuff. But just like you could in tabletop, or you could give a unit of man-eaters like the sniper rule or the stealth rule or the poison rule and all that stuff.
You can make them so fucking cool, man.
Yeah, man-eaters were goofy as shit. Like, they, frankly, in my opinion, they were kind of terrible, just because they were so expensive, but you could do some really goofy shit with them.
Yeah.
The snipers were hilarious. Like, if you got a bunch of ogre pistols with snipers, and then you just, like, pick off a wizard in a unit or something, it was funny. But, yeah, and I'm fully expecting I will say, I'm expecting ogres to get a bit of a nerf bat.
Yeah.
At some point. Like, Gorgers are very overtuned. Iron Blasters are kind of insane. Just like on tabletop. Iron Blasters are bullshit. Who would have thought?
Iron Blasters on tabletop were...
Fucking... They were so stupid.
Yeah.
Absolute horseshit unit that were not fun to play against, and so every ogre player took 2 because they were dicks.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's the most sophisticated cannon. It's a fucking cannon!
Yeah, really. I know, it's like... Why is the stupid, literally one of the dumbest races that barely, like, cannot create black powder, mind you. They have to trade for it because they have no idea how to make it. Why do they have the best cannon in the game? What kind of bullshit is this?
God. Oh, I hate ogres so much.
They were goofy as shit, dude. Dude, I got the Hell Heart as a magic item, and the moment I got it, I was like, ah, fuck. Like, just seeing the Hell Heart, like, started putting me, like, PTSD. Oh, man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But anyway, I'm actually kind of looking at my chat, just I'm making them aware, and you should at yours. If there's any interesting topics anyone would like us to kind of hit near the end of today's stream, just because we didn't do like a who would win or anything, which forgive us, sorry. I didn't have time to.
I literally blindsided Sotek and said, "Bro, I need to do today instead of tomorrow. I'm sorry."
Yeah. So forgive us. So the thing I wanted to show y'all I did earlier, which was the Imperial Zoo updates. Astrogoth Ironhand versus Grim Burlixon. Grim Burlixon dies immediately.
Yeah.
That's exactly how Astrogoth Ironhand, the most powerful Chaos Dwarf sorcerer in the last, like, 400 years, in a full mecha suit, who could summon ash storms to block line of sight, and could summon giant meteor fireballs and lava pits, and God knows what upgrades he has in his mecha suit, versus a dwarf with a gun. Who do you think wins?
Oh, this is an interesting question, actually. How do you think they would make the Chaos Dwarf train rules in the game?
Trade? Or train?
Train.
Oh, personally, I'm expecting it to be an upgrade to the train. Kind of like war wagons for the Empire, where it's like you could get different trains that have a different carriage. So, like, get a what the fuck is the train called? Iron Demon with Deathstreaker rocket attachment, or an Iron Demon with a cannon attachment, or an Iron Demon with a magma cannon attachment. I think that would be like a really easy way to introduce variants of it, while also still like having that theme.
See, you know how I'd love it? Like Kislev's little version of Hogwarts. Right? So,
What?
Right, because the ice court, right? The ice wizardry court. It's Hogwarts, right? It's just discount Warhammer Hogwarts.
Oh, okay.
So
now I see where we're going.
You get the train, you get the demon engine, and then you send it to build up, because obviously this would be kind of stupidly powerful. And then you get options to be able to build it up in a...
You know what? That's awesome. I like that. That's a really badass system.
I think that would be kind of interesting. They'll have to make a bunch of new models and so on, but then again, it's just like attaching one together.
I imagine it wouldn't be terribly complicated. Like, especially if they, like, maybe simplified it.
Yeah.
Oh, another one someone said that could be interesting is maybe based on how you upgrade it, maybe instead of it just getting a war machine on the back, they make it like a black arc. So you get, like, barrage army abilities. So, like, oh, you upgraded your demon Iron Demon carriage to have these weapons, so you get access to these army abilities.
That's not too
instead
bad.
of it being a regular attachment, because that would make it a lot easier development wise while still allowing you to have like a bunch of different options.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'd just love to see a demonic Thomas the Tank Engine just charging through the bloody battlefield, you know?
Oh, well, we're gonna get. There's gonna be at least 2 variants of it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's gonna be a regular one. There's gonna be a Skullcracker, and I'm so excited for the Skullcracker.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's gonna be a Thomas the Tank Engine mod. You know,
Yeah.
you know, there's gonna be a Thomas the Tank Engine mod.
I mean, it'd just be awesome.
I'm just gonna pop some of. Do we think Chaos Force will have 2 or more or 4 legendary lures to start? I think it's gonna be 4.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I think, like, because we only really saw evidence of 1 in the files.
No, there were evidence of 2 in the files.
Oh, there was 2. Okay,
no,
I only saw the Legion of Osgore one.
There was there was 2 war camp advice in the files, but they couldn't be cracked. So my thinking is they're gonna do 4. I don't know how it's gonna work. Because I've seen some people talk about, like, possibly just getting the 4 that we know, you know, the Ashen, Astrogoth, Zatan, and one more. There's been talk, obviously, of the big miniature that was in Forge World that was used in Age of Sigmar, but was actually meant for Warhammer Fantasy.
Star Tour!
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, oh, and I think Indie Pride made a video on it. But I don't think he referenced the fact that that was supposed to be a Warhammer Fantasy miniature.
Yeah, it was for a Warhammer Fantasy Forge World supplement that was never printed.
Yeah, because
it got canceled.
Yeah, but GW has
which to be fair, just to show that we're not bullshitting, Troll Hag, Giant River Troll Hag, exact same thing.
Yeah,
was made for a Warhammer Fantasy supplement that was never released, so they just threw it out, and it was playable in AOS. But you could also use it in Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through the old books, like, for example, even the Monstrous Arcanum, which barely shows up, some of these have shit that miniatures were never ever printed, right? Like, it says coming soon or some bullshit like that, because that's what GW used to do.
Incarnate Elemental of Death. Never had a mini.
Yeah. Let me actually just find the statement that they put there, because it's such fuckery. And that's what made them lose that lawsuit a while back. Remember that?
Sure.
They tried to sue a company that were making stand-in miniatures for stuff that they released rule for, but they never printed the miniatures. And the company that made in the stand-in minis won because they said, well, this is your fucking fault because you didn't release miniatures. What are people supposed to do? And that became, it was a big lawsuit. It was a massive lawsuit. Page 42. I do love this book. Actually, same thing with the Cathay Fireborn, wasn't it? Or was it the Cathay, the big...
The Destroyer.
Yeah.
The Destroyer, though, funny enough, I was actually talking to some people that got to go to a show when during that time period, and Forge World had a model at a showcase that looked like a Cathay Fireborn, or a Destroyer, and it didn't have a label.
Yeah.
So, like, most of the minis had labels, and they had one that didn't have one, and it's widely believed that it was the Destroyer mini.
Yeah, it is silly. It is honestly silly. It's probably in the other rules section. God, I hate this book so much. Like,
Astrogoth Iron Hand versus Thoric Ironbrow. That's a great one. We'll do it next time. Or that one we'd actually have to think about.
The problem with, like, I would love to see all these things. It's just ridiculous that some of them just never had them. Because the plan was 4 books, wasn't it, for the Thrones of Chaos series?
Yeah, there was one for each god.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because Tarmacon has 3 brothers that are just as badass as he is, and we have no idea who they are.
which is...
We just know that there's a Slanesh one, a Khorne one, and a Tzeentch one, but we don't know anything else.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why... like, the books were apparently done. Why not just release the lore so people could have at least had some context?
Because they were fucking assholes and wanted to bury the universe.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's a shame. I can't find the statement. It's somewhere in the book. I'll update everyone on Discord later when I can find it. But, like, I do have another question, actually, for you. Let's just see if I can remember it. Right. So, Ind and Koresh are not in the Game Free map, right?
At this time.
Well, this is the thing. Given the map orientation, it would require very heavy expansion.
Oh, sorry. In the Chaos War map. So, like, the base campaign.
Yeah, Realm of Chaos. So, how can you justify DLC for those factions?
Mini campaigns. I don't think they're going to expand the Warhammer 3 base map. I think they're going to do what they've been showing off with the other ones, which is they're going to create new campaign maps that are focused on those new parts of the world. So instead of it being, oh, you're going to play the Realm of Chaos map, but we're going to add End onto it, I think instead they would make a new map that's focused on End and just has relevant characters from the already playable factions. And then if you want everybody, you just go play Immortal Empires.
Doable.
And it has a unique storyline that is focused on them.
It's doable.
To really sell them.
It's doable. It's doable. Would you say...
So what they did in Warhammer 1, similar but not the same.
Yeah, because Warhammer 1's issue with that was... yeah, I get what you mean now, because Warhammer 1's issue is like Call of the Beastmen. We got less of a roster and less legendary lords because of the mini campaign.
Yeah, and it was also a single-player campaign with no optional characters that once you played it through once, there was no reason to play it again, because they're like, why?
Yeah.
Like, if they brought back the Kazrak the One-Eye campaign and they released it, the exact same map, right? Exact same map, exact same factions, exact same, like, storyline, but they made Boris Todbringer playable, Kazrak playable, let's say Malagor and Karl Franz, like just random list. They make 4 playable characters, and they make it where you can play as any of them, and they have their own storyline you're following, and you can have a multiplayer campaign where you're fighting each other as those characters. That's gold, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would buy the shit out of that on its own. Like, I'd easily pay $5 to $10 for that. Yeah. Bring me that Wood Elf campaign that they did. Let me play as Orion or Durthu or Morgur or the Red Duke or like Lewin. Like, all right, I'll play the shit out of that. That looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much they could do. It can't be a stylized campaign. It has to be just cut off from the combined map, so that way people can just choose to ignore that campaign.
Yeah, well, and make it story based.
Yeah,
like the prologue campaign shows they could do story based campaigns, and it was kick ass. Like, give me more of that. Like, for Sandbox, I'll go play Immortal Empires. I don't need Sandbox in every single little thing you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm more keen on, like, just seeing what they could do, like, because Ind, we've seen the landmass is so big, we can easily get 4 legendary lords.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Unless they planned... Maybe they don't have anything planned for Ind, which would break my heart, and they just go, no, you're going to get Lokia Fellheart here, and Aisling, and then...
Dude, if it was just Creative Assembly in on this, I could see that as a possibility.
Yeah.
But because Games Workshop is so involved now, there's no way.
Yeah. I mean, like, we can see a lot of stuff. Eventually, we could easily see map expansions, so we could eventually get, like, say, for example, Nippon. I have a weird feeling that the Lost Isles are going to be another human nation, because...
or fish people. Could be fish people.
Well, if we...
I'm just being honest, like... We don't know what's on the Lost Isles of Elithis, except for, like, kangaroos or something.
well, this is what kind of gets me. Remember our first interview with Andy? When we said, oh, what about anything to the east? And he goes, there's some human nations there. And he kind of hinted, obviously, Nippon and other human nations. It's like, right, so Warhammer Australians.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be. I mean, but... You know, listen, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm being legit. Like, if they do the fish people, and the fishmen are based on a mixture of Polynesian or Indonesian culture with Cthulhu themes, that faction would be hype as fuck. And that would be the perfect place to put them.
You really want fishmen, don't you?
Dude, I want fishmen so bad. They've been teasing my dick about fishmen for like 30 years. I need it. Like, there's got to be a payoff.
I mean, I'm cool. I think that I honestly think, and this is I think you'll echo my sentiments here. We didn't get Nippon on the map just yet because they need to do such a heavy rewrite on Nippon's lore.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, because it was incredibly racist. Like,
well, and it was just lazy.
Yeah.
It was dumb. Like it wasn't exciting to read. You just would look at it and it's like, oh, everything's named after motorcycles and cars.
Yeah, and
Like,
which is weird because a lot of like GW staff back in the day were all pretty much virgins and so on. Like, you wouldn't really expect them to be. Like,
I think they were just really like. Listen, I have the utmost respect for their inventiveness to certain extents. Like, you go back and read the 5th edition Lizardman book, and there are some parts you go, ooh,
yeah.
this is bad.
Yeah.
This is just, and that was like late in Warhammer's life cycle.
Yeah, like early Beastmen lore is
like, Nippon is from like 3rd edition or 4th edition. It was even worse. So
I have hope. I have hope. If they do this rewrite well, and obviously I'm still waiting for the fabled Araby rewrite that Cubicle 7 were hinting at,
we hold the faith here.
Yeah.
Araby will come.
Yeah, like the sun shines bright, Yeah,
the Southlands is getting expanded. Archon the Black can fuck off to some other place. Fuck off, Archon. Nobody likes you.
Yeah.
Go to Nagash's, you nerd.
Pretty much.
Daddy's boy.
Because there is so much possibility that they could milk, right? They said, we want to support Warhammer 3 for many years. It's like, bro, factions.
Yeah. Well, I'm so hopeful because there are a lot of races that feel very close to being done. Like, honestly, outside of like a few named characters, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with the Dark Elves at this point. Like what? Shadowblade? So like, no named characters. Name me 2 generic things you would add to the Dark Elves.
No names characters? Fuck, man. Strippers.
We already have them. We got Sisters of Slaughter and we got Witch Elves. We already have them.
Sexier strippers.
Well, okay, that's okay. We can't account. We can't put in your precious cat boys. Okay, like
in this coming, cat boys.
We can't change the faction like that.
But no, Dark Elves are pretty much done in terms of their army book, aren't they?
Yeah. They've even added some stuff.
Yeah. It's yeah, because the Pegasus Riders are a new unit.
Yep. Okay. I see chat naming a lot of random shit. The one thing I've seen chat say that I could go, okay, is sea dragons. Like a serpentine dragon that breathes fire that can come on land that is associated with them. I could see a sea dragon.
That would be cool.
That's one. I don't think the Statue of Cain would be worth it. That's
The Statue of Cain thing has always been kind of weird. I mean, that was what threw me off when they started teasing for fucking Rakarth. It's like, oh, Statue of Cain. It's like, what?
That was so dumb. Hey, you know what makes me think of a Charybdis? Mass sacrifices to Cain.
Yeah.
Yep. Not the blood rack Medusa. No. Yeah, not the bloodthirsty, not the blood rack Medusa. No, the Charybdis. That's what I think of.
They might have something in the Arcanum, actually.
Yeah, the statue of Cain, in my opinion, was always stupid because it's a ripoff of the Avatar of Cain from 40K.
Yeah.
A much shittier ripoff, I might add.
Yeah.
No, Merworm is High Elves. Merworm should be High Elves, not Dark Elves.
And an undead one for the Vampire Coast.
A sea dragon is like a serpent, a sea serpent, a sea serpent that breathes fire. That's a sea dragon.
Maybe the basilisk because it's a sea creature. I mean, that would have worked well in
it's
a
more
fucking
of a mountain creature. I would put the basilisk in either the Beastman or the Norska. I think it would do really well in Beastman or Norska. It's too chaosy for Dark Elves, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do sea dragons fly? No, they're serpents. Like it's a sea serpent that breathes fire. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Don't think harder than that. It's literally just like a big snake that breathes fire.
Well,
and it swims.
someone's pointed out they could do like a reskin unit here, and this is actually pretty good. A proper Spellthirster Hydra, because we only got it as a banner, which was silly, because we knew that Rakaf had them, and for some reason that doesn't show up. And
but I don't think you could pull that out and be like, look, pay for this, and people would be like,
well, they could.
but like, my point is, we're really trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel here. Like, the Dark Elves are very close to being done, even if we're like really digging in there.
Yeah, I mean,
like we're basically like, oh, let's take a unit that's already in the game and release like a slightly different version.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not seeing like any legit new units being suggested.
They've got like the possible Assassin Lord just to give them that, but that's pretty much it, and that could go well with Shadowblade. But there's fuck all. Honestly, I just want Talaris. I think Talaris would be cool.
Talaris Dreadbringer, I think, would be a great legendary lord. Shadowblade could be a legendary hero or a legendary lord. Like, he'd be fine either way.
Yeah.
Khorne Darkhand, legendary hero.
Yeah.
Done.
And then we're done. We're pretty much done.
It's like that. It's like that for a lot of factions. There are quite a few factions that have like you look at it and you're like, I don't really know what else. Like Lizardmen are kind of to that point where like I'm like, okay, Skink Horned One Riders, Skink Riders on Colchins, the ostrich birds.
I would like Colchins.
Yeah, like I don't really know what else to do with Lizardmen beyond that.
What
like Croxgore, generic lord, that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
But like skinks with short bows, yeah, I could see the argument there. From the call out to the Southlands.
The fifth edition, wasn't it?
6. You could play a Southlands list in 6. It was actually one of the leading tourney lists, and it was bullshit. Everybody hated it because it was literally just 200 skinks with short bows.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the box. It was Lizardmen versus Bratz, which is a really pretty box.
Yeah. But like, there are a number of factions that are to the point where like they're missing like named characters and like just itty bitty little things.
Yeah.
But like they don't have any big monsters really. There's just not a lot there.
I mean,
which is good. That's a good thing because that means that we could stop focusing on them and focus on new things.
But I've used this argument a lot. If new shit comes out for Old World,
obviously that fucks it up. But we got to work with what we got. I'm not worried too much about like potential things.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, like if we're still waiting for stuff that's missing. I mean, Tomb Kings could do a DLC. Tomb Kings could really do a DLC.
Yeah, Tomb Kings could use a full DLC.
Yeah,
like a full Lord pack. Like we could use like Ushabti with great weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The Chimeric Titan.
Yeah,
Chimeric Titan. We could use like tombs. Like I could actually see tomb swarms now that we've gotten Nurglings.
Yes.
Like I would really love to see swarms now that we know they could do it. Like Lizardmen, like give me jungle swarms or snake swarms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But like, there's like Tomb Kings are missing quite a bit, but not a lot. But they're missing like a Lord pack slice of stuff. But like Dark Elves feel very close to being done. Yeah. Wood Elves feel like super done.
Yeah, because
they got what the fuck you.
They got
like they've already pushed Wood Elves pretty hard, like past what we had in tabletop.
Yeah,
I don't know what you could do for Wood Elves.
Yeah.
Like we even got spites, with Dryches, with the Forest Spirit characters.
Yeah.
So it's like they could use some more named characters, but other than that, like Wood Elves feels super done.
There was
no Meadow Chariot. Stop bringing up the Meadow Chariot. God damn it. Shut up.
I don't know if
you don't need a fucking chariot.
I don't know if you're telling me that or your chat.
I'm telling my chat that. Like, I don't know if you were about to bring that up, and if you were, I'll say it to you too. Shut the fuck up about the chariot. What else? Don't use chariots.
There was rumors a long time ago that 6th edition was going to have another supplement, and it was going to expand on further stuff. This was I don't know how concrete this rumor is. I could ask a friend of mine who worked at GW around that time, but it was going to do kind of like Storm of Chaos, where they wanted to expand and do more like Middenheim lists and stuff like that. And there was rumors that Lorelorn Forest was going to have its own unique list.
I mean, that makes sense. King as Lorelorn has its own unique culture now.
Yeah, they call themselves a different...
Lorelorn literally, one of the books I have, the Volumes of the Emperor, or Volumes of the Empire Part 1, is like, it has an entire segment purely dedicated to Lorelorn elves.
Yeah. Like, they are their own culture. They call themselves something else, don't they, too?
Yeah, they're the Ioneer instead of the Azrai.
Yeah.
And they're like a mix of High Elves and Wood Elves.
Yeah.
Like, they're not really distinct Wood Elves. They are High Elves that have a Wood Elf culture fusion.
Yeah.
But they don't have, like, any unique units.
Yeah.
They're Wood Elves that are much more friendly to outsiders, and their forest is not nearly as magical.
Yeah.
So, like, they don't have much in the way of forest spirits.
Yeah. So it could be interesting that they could do something. I would love to see sub-factions. Because that would be interesting, you know?
Well, like, the sub-factions we have are so good. Drycha, awesome.
Yeah.
Archon the Black, awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if they finish developing Morathi, awesome. Like, I love when those factions have, like, those cool little additional things.
Yeah. It's just something that needs to, like, happen just to bring in more flavor. Because it depends on the faction. Like, say, for example, if you're playing Morathi right now and playing Malekith, it's the same thing. You get the same campaign, essentially. You just start different start position.
Well, different corruption.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, chaos corruption.
Whereas I'm more inclined to, say, play Lokir, because he starts in such a weird place, you know?
Yeah, or Rakarth, because you get all sorts of crazy-ass monsters.
Yeah, but, like, it's just, that stuff is cooler, and it's something that needs to be done with a lot more other factions. Like, we'll eventually get Toddbringer. Like, 5 years later, so far.
Ooh, somebody... Nathan, someone's asking about centaurs, and, like, I'm inclined to try and answer it, but, like, I feel like we should table that for another time, because it's, like, a really complicated topic.
It's not too bad. I know their lore quite well.
Hey, if you want to answer it, go ahead.
Right, so early on, we did have a race of centaurs. They were split into different subcultures too, but they just weren't really expanded upon. So we know that in the areas where the Dark Elves are, we had one which were kind of styled to be like Native American type of stuff. But we also had another race of centaurs in the lands of the Eastern Steppes, which is the lands of the Kurgans and so on, that were going for the Mongol theme too, but I think they kind of just put that aside because they already had a few Mongol-inspired factions, because obviously the Kurgans and the Hobgoblins, they're supposed to be wholly nomadic. They got written out of the lore. I believe that the general consensus for the ones in the Dark Elf territories is they were exterminated once the Dark Elves arrived, which, you know, is very Dark Elven.
As someone who grew up with 6th edition onwards, I never ever saw mentions of them in existence. Like, they just did not exist.
Yeah, they got wiped out of the lore very quickly. GW has been mentioning them, though, in all.
Yeah, they were brought up in one of the earliest The Old World speeches. They mentioned, like, when they mentioned hobhounds, they brought up the centaurs, but we don't know which version of the centaurs.
Yeah, I mean, around that time...
I suspect it's the Native American near the Dark Elf version. Because that's a huge empty place. Like, southern Nagaroth, there's nothing going on there. It's totally empty.
Yeah, because as far as we are aware, the Dark Elves didn't really expand too into the continent. Because...
No. Yeah, they're literally just around the coastline. That's it.
Yeah. So it's possible, and I'd love to see them. I see something here saying they turned centaurs into centaurs. No. We actually had centaurs.
Totally different species.
Yeah, they're both very different. You'll notice that if you look at the centaur minis, they have hands. They don't have hooves.
Yeah, Centaurs are actually not true centaurs because they have claws. Yeah. They have like wolf claw feet.
Yeah.
Pads.
Yeah.
They don't have hooves. The closest thing to a true centaur are the bull centaurs, which are a fabricated species.
Yeah.
They're not like a natural occurring one.
Yeah. It's odd. Like, I would love to see centaurs. I'd love to start seeing more different races that we did have established in lore, and just never had the time because I believe this was an interview that was with Rick Priestley, where they just said, oh, we tried, and we just put them in the coming soon pile, and the coming soon pile just never happened. It's like, it would be cool if we could get a little bit of that, because I know there's 8 men in the Southlands, right? There was like 2 sentences. That would be interesting.
Yeah, well, like, the Southlands and Nagaroth are heavily underdeveloped. Mm-hmm. Like, for being an active part of the Warhammer world, there's literally nothing going on.
Yeah. It's a bit odd. Yeah, and yeah, someone just mentioned here, Chaos Centaurs became Centigores in 5th edition. Yeah, that was the rebrand, but we had Centaurs and Chaos Centaurs. A lot of stuff just ended up becoming Chaos, too, because I know there was at one point there was mention of
Back
Chaos
in the
Elves.
day, Undead used to be Chaos.
Yeah.
Go back to 1st edition. Heinrich Himmler, first ever named character in fantasy, he was literally, like, he's always been a Chaos dude. That's just his thing.
Yeah, and there's so much... keep in mind that GW rewrite their stuff so often because it's just what they do. They don't think, oh, let me just establish and work on this. Nah, fuck it, man. Let's just do a whole rewrite. That's why you don't see on tabletop skinks with bows anymore. You see them with the hand weapons or the blowpipes.
That's also why being a lore master of Warhammer Fantasy is a job for idiots.
Yeah.
Because it's nightmarish.
Any Warhammer lore that you go through, you have to second guess yourself a lot. This is why, like, say, for example, 40k, there are a lot of more speculative channels than there are lore channels.
Yeah. I always love turning into something from Luton. And he's like, he'll get into a topic and he's like, all right, I'm aware that what I'm about to say, like, there could be conflicting information. Like every one of his, like, deep dive videos, there's, like, a whole segment dedicated to, like, I realize that you're going to possibly find shit that contradicts this, and I'm going to tell you why that's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I totally get what he's going through.
Yeah, because we have that in Warhammer Fantasy lore, because we have all these conflicting things, especially when it comes to, say, for example, all the different changes that we've realized when it comes to Sigmar ascending and all that stuff. Or
well, like, pick an easy one, right? Belagar. If you start reading the Gotrek and Felix books, which are technically canon, you read the first book, Troll Slayer, Belagar Ironhammer shows up, and he's like a really old, wrinkly old dwarf who's like really beaten down. He's not a fighter anymore, and he's just like old and crippled.
Yeah.
Now, you may look at that and go, what the fuck? That's not the Belagar I know. The Belagar I know is like a badass who's like kicking the shit out of people, and like he took Carrick 8 Peaks, and he's fighting... You know, and he literally fights till he dies.
Yeah.
Same guy, but one of those was written in, like, 6th edition, and the other one was written in 7th edition. And they completely retconned him. Like, he does the same stuff, technically, in the timeline, but the character is totally different.
Actually, now that you mentioned the Gotrek and Felix books, this is something really important. Remember in one of the Gotrek and Felix books, they fought against a race of, like, Mantid? Or there was just one left, and the rest were stumbling?
The sleeper.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is supposed to be the thing that can destroy the world and stuff like that. It's like, these are things that get established and then just never get worked on because,
it was a giant insectoid ant queen that had been corrupted by chaos like the Dragon Ogres by making a deal with the Dark Gods and developed the ability to mind control people.
It's one of those weird things. We get that when gods get established and then never expanded upon. Like, I've got my crazy theory with the sleeping godchild, but there's like even just generic characters where we just see generic gods where we just get nothing. It's like, give us something, man.
Yeah, well, even like important gods that like are important, like they're well established, like the ancestor gods, way bigger pantheon than you probably think it is. A lot of people go, oh, ancestor gods, Grugni, Valea, and Grimnir. Yeah, no, there's like another 20 of them.
Yeah.
Like, all of their kids are gods, and like, we don't know, like, and it's really difficult to establish when they stop being gods, because like, Snorri Whitebeard was distinctly mortal because he dies of old age, but he is also technically an ancestor god, because he's literally the son of Valea and Grugni, which all of his siblings are literally gods, you know, like Smednir and all those guys, so you're just like, it's very inconsistent.
Yeah. And this is we get a little bit more info with certain things and then changes. Like Warhammer 3 drastically changes does basically, and where they're like, what? Like that's something that we asked Andy about, and he kind of just like, no, don't worry about that. It's like, no.
Yeah, Be'lakor, only undivided demon prince in existence, unless you go back to 6th edition, in which case you can make any demon prince undivided.
This is an argument that I keep having with people. It's like, because CA make that statement, oh, the game is based on 8th. It's like, no, the game is based on 6th. The game is based on...
It's based on whatever bullshit they want to make up.
Yeah, but I think that the lore is 6th, because we've got Franz ascending, you know, does his usual bullshit. Then we end up getting all these...
We do have Storm of Chaos factions. Mm-hmm. We do have a lot of Storm of Chaos factions.
I'm just waiting for the proper Slayer faction to show up, you know, just give a little bit more flavor to our good boy, you know.
Someone said, isn't it Games Workshop approved bullshit? Okay, like, how do you define that?
Yeah.
Like, tell me, what does Games Workshop approve and not approve? Like, they do not have any form of consistency. That's such an unhelpful, like, line to draw in the sand.
Yeah, like, like, could you imagine what they do just to get stuff is they've got, like, a big dartboard, right? With all the different timelines and so on, and they're just like, boom, okay, we're doing 6th this one. Then this DLC we're doing... Because, like, obviously, like, the Shadow and the Blade, that was Storm of Chaos. That was also a little bit of Mordheim into that, too, you know? With the Snickage army.
Well, and here, I'll say this. Here's an easy example of Games Workshop simultaneously approving something and not approving something in Total War Warhammer 2. Go play Nakai, right? Nakai starts on Albion. Go do his quest battle, and you may notice there's a very cheeky line in the description of the quest battle where it's not clear if the Albion Crisis actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they basically just throw multiverse bullshit at you, and they say, oh yeah, no, the Albion Crisis happened, but it didn't happen. But it did happen. Because Nakai remembers it happening, but it definitely didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? So, like, they just make shit up.
It's so odd sometimes. Like, I would love to see what... Like, I would love to be in a meeting with CA when they're discussing this type of stuff. Because, we know a lot of them are, like, Warhammer fans and Warhammer Fantasy fans. And I'm not sure if this is just general... rule of cool, or let's have a few shots of tequila and whatever we end up picking once we're drunk is what we'll go for.
Yeah. And well, like, there's even a super cheeky reference. Like, I hate it, but did you see in Total War Warhammer 3, they literally just have, like, a fucking multiverse tip? Mm-hmm. Where, like, they literally just go, oh yeah, so, like, the lore of the Chaos Gods and Fantasy has not changed at all. However, Slaanesh was totally born because of what the Eldar did, according to the multiverse theory. Mm-hmm. Which means it didn't happen in the Warhammer universe, but it still happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, where the... What? What the fuck? Like, so it's like, just ignore it. It's just stupid. Like, it's literally just... It makes... It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
No, I get it. I just get pissed off because it's like... They put little tidbits which could mean something, and then it's like, it's not. Like, I would... fucking love if they expanded on the other Chaos Gods, because we got that hint in Game 3 about Nekoho and Zuvison. I'm like, boy, come on, give us something. Yeah. It's like, oh no, it's just a throwback. It's like, really? There's so much potential here. You could literally milk a DLC out of this. Just make up some random demons. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if they get like a Regiment of Renown. I think that'd be like a really easy, cool thing.
Yeah. It's just, it's odd. Like, I like that they're going through all the additions, though, because obviously it brings in so much possibility. And I'm expecting that with some stuff in the future. I mean, I hope. But it's like, I'm confused about the timeline, and it hurts my head when I speculate on videos, because it's like...
Well, yeah, obviously it's a unique timeline. Like, yeah. It's literally its own separate... Like if people come in, they're like, oh, what timeline are they using for Total War? It's like, it's literally its own timeline.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of shit has been shifted and moved, and, like, there are characters who are dead that are still alive. There are characters who are active that shouldn't be yet. Like, it's literally just It's just whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I don't know. I like they do the they do the hint. Actually, someone just said this here with the chainsword and the Slaanesh thing, like you said in the Realm of Slaanesh. I think that's just eventually for a future Total War 40k anyway, because like it's the only thing that makes sense.
Well, and it's a cheeky reference. Like the chainsword of Khorne is actually kind of a complicated topic because like it's a cheeky reference, but it's not literally a chainsword.
Yeah.
It is a demonic weapon that functions like you would expect a chainsword to function. But it's not, like, it doesn't run on gasoline or whatever the fuck they use in 40k. Like, it's not mechanical.
Yeah.
It's like it's a demon that, like, it sounds dumb, but, like, in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd Edition, you could get the chainsword as a demonic weapon as an upgrade. And it gets a lot more into detail about what exactly it is.
Yeah.
But it's, like, the sound of, like, the engine revving. It's not actually an engine. It's literally just the demon, like, screaming.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously it's a reference to 40k chainswords. But is it a 40k weapon in fantasy? Well, that's kind of up to your interpretation.
It's confusing because obviously, like, if we go I hate referencing it. It's like in the end times, Nagash outright states, yes, there's a multiverse, and I want to eat the Chaos Gods because I can eat them there and then go to that universe too. And so on, you know?
Well, Lilith says the same bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, Lilith comes out and says, oh yeah, no, the Warhammer Fantasy world isn't unique. This is actually one of an infinite number of realities where the Chaos Gods our reality gets destroyed, a handful of survivors escape into a new reality, and the Chaos Gods eventually follow them, and that's happened an infinite number of times, and has never not happened for some reason. And those survivors create a new universe, and they become the Elven Gods. Which you may sit there and go, wait, then what the fuck are the old ones? Great question! She doesn't explain what the fuck the old ones are, because her theory is stupid. But that's how lazy Games Workshop's writing is.
Yeah.
Is that, like, they don't present that as, like, she's wrong. They present that as she is 100% right. And, like, that is just how it works. And if you analyze it for more than 3 seconds, you go, this makes no fucking sense. And, like my theory for it is, like, oh, she's the goddess of prophecy. She saw the end of the world coming and it drove her insane. And, like, this is how she's interpreting events. But she's wrong, but she thinks she's right. And that's why she does what she does, which I think actually makes her a much more interesting and tragic character. But that's not what Games Workshop intended with that writing.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, that's why whenever me and Nathan do lore videos or talk about anything, we're not telling you what the most recent publication said.
Yeah.
We're telling you, based on all of the reading we've ever done, on all the different subjects, over all the different editions, what makes the most sense for a combined universe based on our personal tellings. And there are things me and Nathan don't agree on. Like, there are lore topics where we have different opinions. Because there is no canon. It doesn't exist. It's not real.
The common thing from GW is everything is canon, not everything is true. And it's like, well...
fucking lazy.
Yeah. It's GW trying to be... This is my big issue with that. It's GW trying to be... they're trying to be Marvel, but they don't want to give us separate worlds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, man, could you imagine if Games Workshop put in the effort to, like, label the different multiverses so we could actually talk about it? Like, the Story of Chaos universe is Universe 5. The End Times is Universe 6. Like, oh my god, that would be so nice. That would be so nice.
And the thing is, a multiverse was outright established in Age of Sigmar because in the early Techless lore, he visits a echo of the world and basically just watches over Orthwan because he's a dramatic little crybaby and he wants to go to his safe space, right?
Dude, there's literally I won't say what it is because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
There is a thing you can buy that's very good in AOS, and the point of the story revolves around a realm gate to the Warhammer Fantasy world before the end times.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to go through the realm gate, you could literally change what happened.
Yeah. That was a certain someone.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
now,
like...
it was destroyed so that no one could use it. But, like, that's the levels of, like, mind fuckery that we're dealing with.
Yeah. It's stupid because like don't give us a multiverse without actually outright saying, look, it's a multiverse. This is what happens. This is how we're ending up with, say, for example, like in the future, I'm expecting that we'll be able to use the Cathay models in Age of Sigmar. It's like, oh, look, magically Shen Wang or Zhao Ming or Meow Meow appears, right? It's like...
Meow Meow.
Yeah, I don't like her, man.
I didn't realize that you had discovered her cat cafe when she's moonlighting as a cat cafe maid.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't like the character. I really don't. Zhao Ming is so much fucking cooler, in my opinion.
You know, I love both of them. I think they're great.
I just think Zhao is like a badass, man. And
Zhao makes me so sad, though. Whenever he's walking around the campaign map and you click, he's like, my father loves me. And it's like, ooh. Ooh, dude. That's rough. Yeah. That's rough, buddy. And he's got some daddy issues.
He really does. But I like him as a character. I think he's cooler. But that's how they're going to establish it. They're just going to go, if we get Cathay as, they have to, like, Sigmafy it. But, like, if we can play Cathay miniatures in Age of Sigmar, oh, look, a realm gate open to Grand Cathay and they're escaping.
Dude, they wouldn't even have to go that hard. They would literally just be like, hey, this city of Sigmar exists that worships this weird... They worship a zodiacal dragon that was discovered, who's a dragon made out of stars, but it's not Dracothian. It's this mysterious celestial dragon emperor made out of a constellation. And this mysterious city was discovered in a subdimension of the realm of fire that has now joined the fight. Like, it takes 2 seconds.
If they do that, you can sue them, right? For stealing your idea. It's just,
I mean, that's just how the universe works. Is that every time they need to make something up, they literally just reveal a pocket dimension.
Yeah.
That's literally how AOS functions. They're like, oh, yeah, Slaanesh is contained in Olgish, which is between the realms of shadow and light. And Archaon rules from the 8 points, which is actually a pocket dimension between all of the other 8 points. And, oh yeah, there's an empire that exists in a pocket dimension within the realm of fire that has a time-space anomaly. And, oh yeah, the Gloomspite Gits have an asylum where they keep wizards that's a pocket dimension hidden beneath the realm of metal. All of those are real, by the way. I didn't make any of those up. Those are all canon.
That is so...
Like, they just make shit up. Like it's... And it's fun because they consistently do it, so it's not like it surprises you. It's not like a Deus Ex Machina thing where you're like, this came out of nowhere. It's just how the world works. Yeah. So you're just like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
I mean, where the fuck are the Chaos Dwarfs supposed to be now? Because there is, like, hints that they're coming to Age of Sigmar.
They're in the 8 points. We've actually seen them. They weren't playable, but if you buy the Wrath of the Everchosen book, they literally show up and fight. Like, you get to see one of their forges, and the Night Haunt and the Ossiger Bone Reapers invade and kill a bunch of them. They're just not playable in the book, but they're talked about. But the Lumineth Realm Lords also show up in that book, and they were not playable yet.
Yeah.
But they show up and get the shit kicked out of them by Archaon, like, instantly. But, like, so they've been teasing those factions for a while.
Yeah. I have a feeling that the Chaos Dwarfs that we do end up seeing for Age of Sigmar are not only the ones that we're going to see in Old World, but it's the ones that we're likely going to see in Warhammer 3.
Yeah, I think the only difference between AOS and fantasy crossplay is going to be, like, special characters.
Yeah.
I think that's literally going to be it. And then they'll be like, you can put it on either base. And if you're playing fantasy, these are your special characters. And if you're playing AOS, these are your special characters, and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see them. We've already seen, like, those Hobgoblin miniatures that came out with the Cruel Boys. And that was, like... They literally said, no, they work with some Chaos Stunties. Like, it's literally... Yeah. And it's
well, like... Hashit's been full-on name-dropped multiple times.
Yeah. And, like, the fact is, like, I can't wait to see what happens just because I want to see what happens. Because there's so much potential. If they do the same miniatures that we get, then it's going to be easy. This is the first time that they're doing a proper cross-promotion for a full faction to sell for loads of stuff. And if they don't come out with fucking square bases, even if it's just for Age of Sigmar...
They've already promised square bases.
No, I know. I mean, like, when they come out for Age of Sigmar, if Old World is still not out,
Oh, yeah, I see.
Let me just prepare in advance, because look, I like Age of Sigmar, it's fine, but I want to play my Bone Reapers in Age of Sigmar. I want my Chaos Dwarves with glorious square bases.
Dude, I like right now. I'm on the team where I'm like I play Nighthaunt in AOS and I play Lizardmen in Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like I don't want my lizards. I don't want my lizards on round bases. I want them on square bases.
Yeah. Like as from a player point of view, look, I play 30k, I play 40k, I play all that stuff. I will play it dramatically less, I will admit, and I can say that hand to heart and all that when Old World comes out, because that's the system I want. That's the system I want. Like I played all the others because I didn't have the system I wanted. Like they're cool systems, don't get me wrong, but I want what I want. You know?
Yeah. Like I like round bases for AOS and I like them for display. Like they give you more terrain.
Yeah.
But like square, like rank and file, man, it's awesome. I love rank and file. It's sexy.
It's pretty. It's pretty. It just looks so much better when you have like a.
Also, man, I'm so excited for movement trays. Oh my god, dude.
Oh yes.
I'm so sick of AOS being like I gotta move every model by hand.
Well, the movement trays they have for AOS, did they get removed or something?
No, they exist, but the problem is because the rules are so specific on like you measure base to base to like measure like the range of your attacks. You need to be in like very particular formations. So you're like, okay, I need to make sure that like my guys have like an inch reach. So I got to make sure I've got as many guys in range as possible. So you can't use a movement tray when that happens because it adds like a fraction of an inch. So it'll push people out of range. So you got to like take people off their movement trays.
Right.
And it gets, oh god, it gets so annoying so quickly.
It's odd because I like the system. I use it for 40k mostly because, you know, you've got a lot of Cadians you want to be able to fire and all that. But I miss the old versions, like you said, you know, having a really terrifying block of 50 clan rats coming in, being all of them just serving as extra wounds for your...
That being said, for anyone listening, always put your mini on square bases because you can buy round bases that have the holes in them. That's the size of the square. The round bases are always bigger.
Yeah.
So build square, and then if you get you can easily 3D print or buy from a 3D printer round bases that have the square cut out in them. So you just slot them in. That's what I did with my Carnosaur. So then you just, for the terrain, you just do the whole thing, and then if you want to play fantasy, you just pull them out.
Yeah. There's something here that a lot of people are kind of worried about because I see a message here regarding Forge World, because obviously we're expecting Old World and Forge World, aren't we?
That's what they've said, but we just don't know what that means.
Yeah, but Forge World is kind of going into crapper right now. Like they are bleeding models. Like holy
yeah, but
crap.
like there's a lot of rumors that like they're trying to clear out like all their stock and like just get rid of everything so that they can make space for all the Warhammer Old World stuff. And like there have been a lot of rumors that Horus Heresy is about to be re-released in plastic, not resin, and that like resin is going away. In which case, it would mean the Old World is plastic.
Oh no, I think they definitely do plastic for Old World because I would fucking cry. I will fly to Nottingham, stay outside there for days, and cry constantly.
I will go to Nottingham and light myself on fire outside.
Like
that'll be my legacy. Fuck your resin.
I mean, geez, look at this. I've just gone on Forge World right now. I'll send you a link. How do I do this? Because I don't want to like close. Wait, just take the window capture off for 1 second. Look at Forge World. Look at Forge World. It is. That's the Age of Sigmar section.
Well, yeah, I mean they cleared out a lot of the like Monstrous Arcanum minis and stuff.
There is literally just... Yeah, but even the Age of Sigmar ones are gone. There's just 12 miniatures left.
Yep.
Funny enough...
I'm telling you, man, I legit think they're just clearing out stock. And, like, who knows? Like, some of those minis may be coming back and being re-released in plastic.
Yeah.
Some of the minis we lost. And maybe, like, these are the ones that are just staying resin.
I mean, I'm lucky that I've pretty much got all of these because I had a really weird time once and I just decided to buy them because I got paranoid. And it's smart that I got paranoid because holy shit.
Yeah.
But there's only 12 left. There used to be loads, not just the Chaos. Chaos Dwarf army, but like obviously the Pox Riders, say
all the entire Tarmacon range.
Yeah.
Most of the Storm of Magic or Monstrous Arcanum, like they had the Dreadmaw, they had the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts. Like there used to be a lot of stuff. The Merworm used to be a Merworm, and those are all gone. But I don't necessarily think it's that like they're gone forever. I wouldn't be shocked if they just re-released them in plastic, or maybe they're making new sculpts for those, because like I mean they're bringing them back for like the role play and stuff, which means I honestly think they're going to bring a lot of those back for Total War 3. I don't know what's going to go on. I don't know what's going to happen with Tarmacon. Tarmacon, I feel like is kind of a toss up.
I'm going to check the.
It's like we're going back to like the Great War, so Tarmacon's not going to happen for another 200 years.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why they would bring him back. Like, I could see bringing back, like, the generic stuff that came with him, like the Pox Riders and all that.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like, the Marienburg Landship. But I don't know why they'd bring back the Tarmacon himself, for instance.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to have a massive bleed, because if you go into the 40k section, there is something here. It's like, win a Death Corps army, spend £100 or more before the 27th of March. And so, yeah, they're bleeding it out. And if you go on the main GW website, a bunch of the Tau armor that is Forge World only is now available in GW.
Yeah. Well, who knows, man? Like maybe they're gonna shut Forge World down and just absorb it. Like maybe Forge World's website will go down and there'll just be like a new tab on the Games Workshop website. I never understood why they had a separate website anyway. That was always weird.
Yeah, I mean, they love to open up websites. There's one for Blood Bowl, there's one for this and that. It's like, fuck off. Just have everything.
Yeah, which is stupid because nobody checks them.
Exactly.
Like, it's so confusing. Like, why shouldn't I have to deal with that bullshit?
It's just curious, though. Because that's like... The last time I came here to check, the Pox Riders were here, and that wasn't too long ago. And, like, they're missing the thick Bloodthirster. God. Wow. Wow.
Who knows, man? It's difficult to predict what those weirdos are up to over there.
Oh no, definitely. It's just it is very. Oh no, what the fuck? The Plague Toads are still here. So is the Floodthirster and the Vermin Lord. What?
You might just have to like. Their website's a mess, dude.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like using it.
Yeah, even the Night Goblin command set. Well, I'm gonna order that right now.
All right. Unless you've got anything else important, we are like massively over time.
Yeah.
Like normally 2-hour podcast, and we're like coming up on 3.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, everyone. you got an extra hour of us just bullshitting.
You had a nice little conversation today. I don't think anything else, barring. Let me see. I had something written down. It's the problem is just it's one of those days.
Go for 4. I will ban you.
There's something here. Wait, let me check. So I'm not sure if I said something on. Don't make me nervous.
Dude, it's almost 10 a.m. I want to go get breakfast. What were you looking up?
No, because I think I wrote something, and I'm just making sure. Because my mind's not working. Ah, okay, yeah. This is for the final conversation. Sorry. Well, let me just... Sorry.
I swear to God, if this ends up being something interesting, I'm going to be really upset.
Right, no. Well, it might not be interesting to you, but it's interesting to a lot of players, especially people who follow me and so on. Steam Workshop. When? When do you think?
Oh, I think less than a month.
I mean, like the game is coming up to a month in about a week and a bit.
Yeah, I saw a post on the Steam Modders Discord, which I'm sure you saw that as well. If you're, I don't know if you're in there, but basically they put out an announcement post that was basically like the vibe I got from it was it's coming really soon. Like, you can mod the files, but, like, don't get upset at CA if you if you light your PC on fire trying to do that.
Yeah.
But to my understanding, and this, granted, I don't have any evidence to back this up. This is just like based on things that I've heard and seen.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if we don't have the mod workshop up and running before the end of March.
Yeah, like it's something that I think is desperately needed. Like the common misconception that some people have is like, oh, because modders are already posting up updates and so on. It's like, well, that's
nothing official.
Yeah, it's the modding tools were never from CA. This is something very important that people need to know. This is an external program, a very good one at that, and it's provided for everyone to be able to do their thing. But I don't know, man. I feel like without mods...
there's no Steam Workshop. Like, if you want to do any mods, you have to do like some cutting and snipping shit yourself.
Yeah, but I feel like without mods, the game's kind of suffering a little bit too because of the issues. Because the community, we do get bug fixes coming from modders. You know, and it doesn't make CA look bad. If they think it makes them look bad, they're wrong. Because how many modders do that for like fucking Skyrim? Or...
If I had to guess, I would be willing to bet money that there is shit in the game files they don't want us knowing about right now, based on the amount of crap we've already found. And that's the only thing I can think of that makes me think that they're trying to maybe keep modders at a bit of a distance, is make it a little harder for them to like dig around and open all that.
Yeah, but they've already got all access to all the files. They can...
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it's a good decision. I'm just saying that's my theory.
Yeah, it's just a bit odd. And like I know a lot of modders who are working some really cool shit. Like for example, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but Zoodad, he does really popular mods like the Sons of Sigmar one and all that. He's got a nice recolor for the Griffin Legion and the Zargard and so on.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It looks very nice.
Yeah, like they look more Kislevites, you know. It's like, come on. And obviously Mixu has posted that he's already trying to like bring in the lords that he's got from his legendary lords.
CA knows that their games live off mods. Yeah. Like they're like Skyrim. Their game needs mods in order to have longevity. They're not stupid.
Yeah.
At least I hope they're not. So it's got to be coming. It's got to be coming.
Let's hope. But yeah, I think we can call
normally,
it here.
Normally, don't they launch with that? Because I don't remember the Steam Workshop not being there in Warhammer 1 and 2. But maybe I'm just not remembering. Right.
I think it took a week. Maybe someone in chat can confirm or deny, because I don't remember.
Okay, someone in my chat says it took Warhammer 2 11 days.
Bruh, it's almost a month now.
Yeah, well, I mean, same thing with the Blood Pack. If this was Warhammer 1 or 2, we would have had the Blood Pack by now.
Yeah. Oh, my heart.
Okay, so there are people in chat who are disagreeing with each other, so we'll just
fight.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's absolutely what we want. People just slapping each other in chat.
I mean,
I don't think it'll be, and I could be totally wrong. I hope it doesn't take them too long to get in, because you're right. I mean, it's literally a basic function of the game.
Yeah. Because like modding is cool, and there's always really cool factions, and people bring in awesome legendary lords that we just don't like have in game at the moment. They make their own version of it, and it's like, fuck, that's awesome, man. Like that's why I can't play Warhammer 2 without saying Mixu's legendary lords.
I can't play it. Yeah, I can't play it without the double skill point mod.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so much that is there, and it's like, fuck, man. Like, I want stuff, man. I already spoke to a few modders who are thinking of making legendary lords for going into the demon factions, right? And while they can't make custom animations just yet and so on to like make the mask and so on, there are some named bloodletters in lore, so they want to just like have different factions. Because like I love playing Scarbrand, but I would love to play a different Cornate faction at some point, you know? Or
oh wow, okay, someone actually pulled up the date. It took a month for the Blood Pack for Warhammer 2.
Bruh.
Warhammer 2 released on the 28th of September, and the Blood Pack came out on the 26th of October. So it took 28 days-ish.
For fucking blood.
So we're maybe still on schedule. Who knows?
Maybe. But they did say next month for the next match, so
Yeah, let's see.
Scary. Scary.
All right. I think we are good to call it for today. Thank you all very much for joining us. We hope you all had fun and got to enjoy a lot of topics. We actually ended up spending... could you imagine if we had done a Who Would Win today? There would have been a minimum of another 30 minutes. Anyway, we hope you all had a good time. Nathan, you got anything coming up this week you want everybody to know about?
I don't think so.
Okay. I will be continuing my playthroughs of my Scrag campaign and Elden Ring over on www.twitch.tv/LoremasterOfSotek. If you'd like to join me for that, I would love to see your beautiful chill names in chat. It would be delightful. I am also hoping... You know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm just not going to say it, because whenever I say it out loud, it just ends up not happening. There may something cool may happen on my channel, my YouTube channel soon, but I'm not going to say what it is, because that'll jinx it. I gotta find my editors. I haven't talked to them in months.
Is it what I think it is?
No, it's not that. It's not. God, please, no. I don't even want to think about that. That'll happen.
One day.
I die.
One day.
I've turned into the George R.R. Martin of Warhammer lore videos. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm tired. I need a nap.
Yeah.
No LOREBEARDS tomorrow, obviously. That's why we did it today. We will be back next Sunday at the regular time.
Yeah.
So hope you all have a great day. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.